Gather round, we got no gods to please. Saturday night, no sermons, just ease. Discussions flow like midnight breeze. No prophets here, just minds to tease. We talk big bangs and evolution. Question faith with our solution. Stars align in our confusion. Breaking free from old illusion. Join the fun, no need for trust. Dust to dust, we're stardust. No heaven high or hell to fear. Saturday night, we hold it dear. Fun and laugh at myth believers. Here we're all truth seekers. Open hearts and swift deceivers. Make your stand, no hidden levers. Raise your glass to reason's thrill. No ancient text, it's our own will. Debate till dawn, feel dull and chill. Saturday night, we've got the skill. Echoes of a godless choir. Light the world, we spark the fire. Free our mindset to inspire. No holy walls to take us higher. Fun, fun, no need for trust. Dust to dust, we're stardust. No heaven high or hell to fear. Saturday night, we hold it dear. Fun, fun, no need for trust. Dust to dust, we're stardust. No heaven high or hell to fear. Saturday night, we hold it dear. Fun, fun, no need for trust. Dust to dust, we're stardust. No heaven high or hell to fear. Saturday night, we hold it dear. Fun and laugh at myth believers. Here we're all truth seekers.
Greetings. Welcome to the Captive Desk, another episode of Saturday Night at the Atheist. And I think we're maybe 2 weeks short of 6 months now. So, it's been a lot of fun. We're trying to be here every Saturday, and we have been so far for just about 6 months. So, and as usual at Saturday Night at the Atheist, we got a bunch of atheists here. So we've got Scott Duke and we've got Mike, both from Answers in Atheism. And we've got Brainless joining us and Simos as well. Hello, everybody.
Yep,
Hello,
dual
hello.
streaming, dual streaming on my channel tonight. So
I seen that. And hello to everybody that's on over at Mike's channel as well.
hello.
hello.
And hello from the USA, the unflushed turd in the world's toilet.
I was going to say, as our song says, we talk about things like Big Bang and evolution here, right? And
Yeah,
we
we're gonna
do
that.
have
Okay, we're not going to do that.
we do have that. But before we get to that, there was a Mike and I agree, a big event, maybe the other folks here too as well, with the Zelenskyy visit at the White House. And now we're not a politics channel. We don't do it here. And we're not going to take sides. We're not doing any of that. Okay.
But I want to apologize to the world. Basically, if I could get the fuck out of here, if I had the resources to get out of here right now, I'd be gone in a flash. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry for America.
If you haven't seen it, Zelenskyy came to the White House, who's president of the Ukraine, and if you haven't heard, they've been at war over there since Putin invaded, and
3 years.
3 years, and Zelenskyy came for a visit. They were working on a deal where he was going to provide probably weapons, and in exchange, Trump wanted some mineral rights so that of the raw earth, to get some money back. Right?
He doesn't even know what rare earth elements are. He calls it raw earth. He thinks it's some sort of undigested dirt or something. I don't know.
So they had a heated exchange, and Zelenskyy was trying to explain that, this didn't just happen. It had been going on. The buildup had been going on, and the incursions had been going on since Obama, right? And he said it went on through Obama. It went on through, it was after Obama.
Yeah.
It was Obama. It was Trump. It was Biden. It was Trump. And Trump didn't like hearing that he was in the mix. So he got a little mouthy, and Vance got a little mouthy, saying, you're not being courteous as a visitor to the White House, when all he was saying is, look, this, was going on for a while. So it got a little heated, and needless to say, they didn't sign a deal as far as I know. And
and something every American...
And Trump went off to Florida because he was more concerned about having his friends down there. And the big thing is, all right, this is what hit me on it. He's been going on and on that he wants to stop the war. He wants to stop the killing, right? But what he said was, if Zelenskyy doesn't want a deal, then basically we're not going to give him any weapons, and he can go fight it out himself.
Yep.
So what happened to caring about the people, right?
Well, you see, David,
no, it's not about that.
It's more than that. If I had an enemy that lived way across town, way across Minneapolis, like 30 miles away, right? And he had a neighbor, and that neighbor gave me the opportunity. And this enemy had been trying to kill me for 50 years. And this neighbor gave me the opportunity to store my weapons in his yard, right next to my enemy. That's what's going on. That's why the Ukraine is important. It's the Eastern Front, basically. And that's what Trump didn't seem to get at all. He thinks it's a business deal. We're going to give you we want some raw earths for that, those weapons. Otherwise, we're not going to do it. It's like, no, the reason we're in fucking Europe is because of Russia, because of the threat they pose to the U.S. and to the rest of the world. And you motherfuckers need to fucking figure that out, or you're going to kill us all.
And he was also insulting a lot of other countries that have also sent help to Ukraine. I almost said Russia. That have sent help to the Ukraine. Okay,
just got
and the attitude of the attitude of
I probably got you unpatriotized too. Because,
I know I'm on a list. Yeah. So the whole it was just it was no way to act, and the idea that we're the only ones helping them, right? Kind of, it's not true, first of all. And, hey, what about all those other countries that are, helping out, right? So, he's an ass, okay? You're going to make me cuss on my channel.
And
but
I heard something
he doesn't know how to act, and neither does Vance. Go ahead, Brainless.
I heard something about him getting out of NATO, something like that as well? Like,
yeah, he doesn't see. He sees everything. That's the thing with the WHO, right? He says we pay more into the WHO than other countries, and it's like, well, yeah, we have more money, right? We pay more into NATO than other countries, and it's like, well, yes, because it's set up as a percentage of your GDP. He wants, like Mike said, it's a business deal. He thinks everybody should pay the same. So if your country only has a couple million people in it, you should be dropping in as much as the United States or China or the other big countries do. And the same thing with the WHO. He wants something out of it. He says, "What do we get out of it?" It's like it's basically charity, dude. They give people potable water and food and medicine, and the WHO. Yeah, they have led in getting rid of a lot of diseases in some of these countries that we're still having diseases we don't worry about, at least not till recently. over
you know,
here.
all that money that went to Gaza supposedly for condoms for Hamas, that money
Yeah.
actually was for triage for fucking war victims, for
Well, and-
helping children
Yeah, and like
people.
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
were condoms sent, but not to Gaza. It was another place.
It
And
was it was the
AIDS
wrong country.
prevention,
Yeah.
As HIV/AIDS prevention.
Yeah, they sent condoms to Africa. Yeah, and I guess there's some kind of a Gaza in Africa or somewhere.
Yeah, but like it is so clear.
and
Look at
but,
every institute that Elon is dismantling. Each and every one had someone in there investigating one of his companies.
Yeah.
yeah.
Each and every fucking one.
What a coinkydink, huh?
No. There's no. It's not in his own best interest. No.
Anyway, guys, we should get on to creationism. This shit is driving me nuts. I mean, I haven't been involved in politics since I was 9 years old when JFK was running against Richard Nixon, and JFK kicked his ass. John F. Kennedy. That's the last time I cared about politics. And this shit has got me. It's got my nose right in it, and it's hurting me. It's hurting my mental health, and my mental health is really in great shape. And if this is doing this to me, I can't imagine.
Well,
what the average liberal
ultimately,
is feeling.
if you want to make friends in the world, okay, and you don't want to have enemies, which is another thing, right? You don't want to have problems, right?
Right.
Being diplomatic goes a long way. Sending starving people bags of wheat and corn and stuff like our farmers do through like the aid program, the USAID and all these other programs goes a long way. Okay. Now, when they bring up places like Gaza and they'll say, how can anybody support, the hummus or anybody that's running around. Right. And yes, I said that on purpose.
The hummus.
The hummus. Right.
Yeah.
Well, if the hummus is giving you a bag of rice or a bag of wheat or, whatever, right, then hummus is okay by you, right? Yeah. So the idea is you want that bag to have USA stamped on it, not from hummus. It doesn't matter ultimately to a person who wants food for their children, okay? Right. If you're giving it to them, you're all right by me, and yes, they obviously they overlook a lot of things because they give me food. Okay, you have to put yourself in the position of some of these people that do not have food. Okay,
I don't remember who it was, but I saw a video earlier. Like one of the people that wants to get rid of all that foreign aid. Previously said like people that you are feeding will not radicalize against you.
Yes.
They want people radicalized.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing everything that Elon and Putin want.
And ultimately, I was just talking about this with my wife just earlier. I was like, ultimately, these are the things that always happen. It happens on the macro federal level, and it happens on the local level. Whenever anybody comes in, they're going to cut the budget. What's the first thing they do is they cut a bunch of the vital things that they shouldn't cut, like social programs, school lunches, all these kind of things.
But
they go, look at how great we are.
Now he is obligated to pay those things.
Yeah.
He is not legally.
But it's meaningless though. I mean, even when you hear these big figures, it's $10 million or whatever, and it's like, but it's out of a $10 trillion budget or whatever.
Yep.
You got to compare it. Yeah.
I want to tell my fellow Americans something else. But when you're feeding some starving people, and just as you're feeding them, you snatch the food out of their mouths, what happens? What fucking happens when you do that?
Yeah, and I mean,
consider
come on, people. I mean, we have to all agree in a country, I'm speaking for our country in the USA. Obviously, Brainless and Simos too are in countries that have enough to help out others. Okay, and you can't call yourself a great country if you're going to cut things like school lunches or aid. To other countries and all. You can't. You have to say we're so great. we have so much. Look at how good, Mike and I are sitting here with all our big screens in front of us, right?
Yeah.
We got it pretty good, right?
The biggest
Mike wants a cheeseburger, and his kid brings him a freaking cheeseburger. Right. Okay, you have to put yourself in that no food. Okay, there's no food. There's
the
a
biggest
different
problem
mindset.
The biggest problem I have as a white guy in America is my lawnmower won't start some mornings. I mean that's my life issue, right? I mean, Jesus Christ, guys.
Yeah.
What?
So we
have
have
to
make
be able America to great again. You're going to make my lawnmower start more often. What the hell are you going to do for me?
And I'm not saying that we should waste money or none of that nonsense, right? But there's no reason for big industrialized country with huge GDPs or even medium-sized GDPs that people should be going hungry. It's not, it doesn't say anything good about you. It doesn't matter how much your stock market is up or your 401k or any of that. If these people don't have any food, when there's plenty of food, these kind of things are it's disgusting. And ultimately it's not going to save money to bring down, what's our debt to now? 30 trillion or something. Cutting school lunches is not going to do it. It's just not. Keep the school lunches. Keep the school lunches.
One more thing I'd like to tell you about government waste, basically, is when they create a social program like welfare, for instance, okay, the reason that there's government waste is because they make every recipient fill out a book-size folder.
Right.
And somebody has to go through that line by line, entered into a computer, right? All of that is waste, right? And the reason for that is because the Republicans are so goddamn afraid that somebody's going to get something that they don't deserve. And that's why we have this bureaucracy in government. And if we went through and streamlined our computer processes and streamlined the application for those government programs, we would save $1 trillion right off the top, or half a trillion. I mean,
and you know what the funny thing is? You know which states take the most money, out of those projects?
Somebody with a wrench. Check out the chat there for me. Thank you.
I just want to say one thing about it, which was I saw an interview once with the guy who set up the a meeting between Trump and Putin. This is before Trump was president the first time, so this is going back quite a way. And he came out and said that they really got on very well together. They were immediately great friends and had a very productive meeting. And in fact said Trump invested quite a lot of money into Russia at the not the beck and call, but at the behest of Putin. Putin told him where would be the best place to put the money. And in fact, the return on the money was excessive, shall we say. So I think Trump has got more than what do you call more than skin in the game.
Oh yeah.
And when I first heard the thing about him getting involved in Ukraine, Russia, and saying that he would pull the troops out of Russia, I was thinking, oh, hang on a minute. Yeah, of course you would, because he wants Putin to win.
Yep.
That's what that's about. It's not about. It's not about whether the world politics. It's about his securing his profits for the future. In Russia, which are now billions, by the way.
It's always a bottom line. That's it, and he'll sell his own mother.
A personal bottom line,
As long as we're on the topic of really dumb, we should get to creationism.
We're going to get to that. We're going to say hello real quick. Commander always here early. Good to see you, Commander.
Hey, Commander.
Commander's back home and working, and hopefully everything get back on track for Commander after a little rough patch there. I hope everything's going good. And we got Sophia. We got to look at the trees.
I guess Sophia is stupid whore energy, she said.
Stupid whore energy.
Wow. Hey, good for ages.
Good to see you. Thanks for stopping. Yeah, there it is. I'm stupid or energy. Yeah, it's been a while. Thanks for stopping by.
Amazing. Always had amazing comments.
Always
have her in the chat.
Yeah, always. Yeah.
I've got Icarus and Doubting Thomas over on my side.
I see Icarus,
Spooky
Thomas.
Vesta.
And Stop the Stupidity. Hello.
Hey, stop.
And Jess. Hello, Jess.
Jess. Okay, man.
And we got Bruh. Our followers of Christ allowed in the chat. Absolutely.
Yeah, but
as long as it wasn't comments like that one person that just got bounced. But I mean, yeah, we welcome everybody here.
As well. They got bounced as well.
They got, we'll see. Well, that didn't
I don't know why
last.
people like that ask. Why don't they just say something? And if they're not obnoxious or inappropriate, then they won't get banned, you know?
Hey, we don't bite here. We bark, but we don't bite. Everybody's welcome. But, you know, I mean, obviously we had some trolls showing up just to say things that were inappropriate. And if that's all you want to do, then we don't have anything to say to you. All right. So
yeah, if
you can go over to Jim Boob's channel or whatever and spew all that stuff, I guess.
I would think if Christians were explicitly not allowed to participate in chat, we'd have a banner across the bottom, or we would announce it from the top and just, you know, let people know. So rather than bringing up that, to me, saying our followers of Christ aloud is almost passive aggressive. That's a way of, you know, announcing and virtue signaling without getting real obvious about it.
We got the Book of Mormon. Are they still here? We got Vesta. Sorry, if things get clipped, it doesn't show up here in the StreamYard. So
the people that are getting banned is so rapidly. To me, it looks like that is one person just switching accounts.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
We got Demon Orb and. Hey, you know, it happens, you know, he ain't going to bother us, okay? You're not going to bother us. See, I'm not bothered. We got great mods here, and we're all here to have a good...
Huckleberry, and we kind of type him out every now and then, but, like, at least he's not coming in with, like, 20 other accounts.
Yeah. So... Austin's here. Austin's feeling a little under the weather, but thanks for joining us, Austin. Austin, I'm sure will join us another time. We got Spooky here. Good to see you, as always, Spooky. Tilting Windmill. Good to see you. And Rochelle, one of my favorite mods, is here helping out, I'm sure. And there's Bree from Hivesci. And speaking of Bree from Hivesci, check the description. I've got Bree's link down there. Go get yourself some merch, okay? All you I don't have Bree's shirt on. But I do have a Bigfoot shirt on. Most days I have a Bigfoot shirt on. But I do have a shirt from Hivesci, their merch, and you should go get yourself one. I think she's got some hats and some socks and other things there too. Go help Bree out, and link in the description, all right? And always... you know, Saturday mornings with Hivesci, great show today. Had a lot of fun there this morning, Bree, as always. And we got the S Minnow.
Hello, Savage Minnow.
I think some of those other ones here were have gone, but John, hello, John. And 222, are they still here?
I can't keep up. My apologies.
I can't keep up with all of them here either. Yeah, we got some socks, I guess. Okay. Al Trucker, what's up, Al? Good to see you.
Hey, Al.
Bree was looking for Canadians earlier. You should have been through.
I want to go to Canada.
And Top Chester, hello.
I wish they were Canada.
And yeah, I guess some of these things have been taken care of by the names of them. All right.
Yeah.
And everybody else, if I missed you, hello. People just joining. Good to see everybody. All right. Yeah. So we, like our song says, big bangs and evolution. And this guy said a few things. A lot of it's nothing new, but the point is, this thing's just came out last week. Okay. So I know sometimes folks, you know, oh, you're covering this stuff. And it's like, well, they keep putting it out. So it needs to be countered. And it's really irritating that they're putting this stuff out that is just way outdated and everything.
Can I just say,
Sure.
evolution is true. You can see Mike's turning into a cat on screen.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, take that.
Human
Over.
turn into a cat. Yeah. That's Thor.
Bree, you wanna come in? I'll. How about Facebook?
Okay, Thor. Where are you going to lay down? And don't show your butt to the camera. Damn it. Cat turns around and shows her butt in the camera.
I dropped you a link on Facebook there, Bree. You are welcome to come in.
Ooh.
And yeah, so we this now okay, wait a minute. Let me pull this up. Now, I try to look up people's credentials and, find their bios, whatnots. And I couldn't really find anything on this guy. So
Who do we got? Who's on the table today? Who's on the chopping block today?
well, I'm pulling it up right here. Hang on a second.
Did you put all the links in the description, didn't you?
Links in the description. Yeah, we have Pastor Tom Shepard from the best I could find out. The pictures match up.
Okay. Yeah, he has like zero credentials.
Apparently no credentials. Doesn't even list like a theology or divinity school or anything. All it says is he's a pastor and he's married and has kids. And that was about it. And it's from a church in Louisiana. So that's about all I could find about him. So Pastor Tom is up on the block here. And we have Miss Bumblebee joining us. Hello, Bree.
And we got room for Midnight, aka Sophia of Athens. Not the Sophia that was once.
You can drop him a link there, Scott, if you want.
Okay.
Yeah,
hey, Dave, none of your links work for the videos that we're reviewing. They all got the ... thing.
Hey, I heard that I get to come in here and be a golden calf. That's what I heard in the live chat. Why are you guys? There should be some worshiping going on here. That's not.
Your audio is a bit muffled, or is that just me?
Am I muffled?
Yeah, you're kind of okay.
Yeah,
you could be
you're muffled. Yeah. You're muffled.
Ooh, okay. Let me see.
Something's going on.
Got my muffler on.
I'm talking through a cat.
Right there. Bree, if I interrupt you, I am very sorry.
What's that?
This is Scott. Yeah.
Yeah, I dropped.
There, that should be better.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was just telling you guys that according to the live chat over here, I should be getting worshipped like a golden calf. So I'm here, worship.
All right, we're worshiping.
Whatever. How do you worship?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like this?
I don't know what all the comments were about. I really don't.
They got deleted. With silly stuff. Silly stuff.
Okay, I don't know why. People. I'll have to fix my links.
Yeah, they're dots, and then I copied them over on my channel, so they're screwed up too. So.
All right. Well, I just dropped the.
If you throw them in messages.
All right. Well, see, the Aaron Ra works.
Yeah, the Aaron Ra one works because that's the one I gave.
Why don't? Right? No, I copied it myself.
It's because of the ... thing for some reason.
Yeah, I know, but that's why I wasn't doing it through StreamYard because they weren't working right. So I copied them myself.
If you throw them all in our if you throw them all in our message stream, I'll straighten it out for you and send you a modified package. It'll take me a minute, but I can do it for you. You just got to link the videos. Anyway, well, maybe we don't.
All right. Well, yeah. I will fix the links in the description as soon as I can.
You have 4 videos. You think we're going to get through one video on this channel?
Yeah, no chance. Absolutely no chance. This is a 5-hour stream if ever I saw one. This has got 5 hours written all over it. It starts with a political broadcast. It's 5 hours, min.
Leo, you want a link? I'll get you a link.
Oh, okay. 6 hours, 6 hours.
Yeah, right.
Invite
Leo's
Leo
coming.
in.
Leo's coming.
Anybody else?
Oh,
Anybody
no.
else want to come in?
I don't think I'm familiar with StreamYard much anymore because I don't know how to get a link to Midnight, aka Sophia of Athens.
Just copy the
Act
link
5
in
again.
your address bar.
Oh, that'll work. I thought they had some security against that.
No, should work.
That should work.
I'll just put the damn thing out in chat.
That's how
Let it
Dave
begin.
summoned me.
Yeah, I'm going to put it in chat. I don't
This
know.
is.
Midnight's.
We're not going to get 5 minutes through a video tonight with all the shit that's going on.
Yeah.
Just accept it. I mean, just feel it, guys. Just live with it.
And let me
I'll
stop you
try
there,
and be
Dave.
as quiet as possible.
Before we start, I've got
So
a rant.
you
All right.
linked that first video for him. You linked at a particular location, and the first thing he said is all we
Yeah.
need to listen to. It was
Pretty
some. I
impressive.
can't remember what it was, but it was one of those dumb creationist things. And
Well, I went back because
Are there
actually,
smart creationist things?
I went back
Dumb.
because actually the best bit of the video was the band. I don't know if anybody went back to see the band.
The band?
Yeah, there was a band
All right, I got it.
early on.
Oh,
They had a
Leo-
band.
A band?
And
Leo-
it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I'll say that much.
Yeah,
You
you
mean
got
the
it.
band?
Leo, I dropped you a link on.
Hello.
Oh yeah, you can't get on.
Who the hell is Iron Man?
That's Midnight.
Oh, come on, dude. That's just so inappropriate.
It just it confused me the other day when I got on
Can you
Jay
get-
Patrick's channel and there was Iron Man. I went, "Why, hello, Iron Man. I don't think we met before." It's me, Midnight.
Can you?
Oh,
Can you?
Wait, how is this?
Can you get one to? Can you get one to Leo, Scott? You got his email?
I'll check.
Oh wait, no wait. He got in. Never mind. He got on.
All right.
There we go. All right, we
There
got
you go.
everybody. Hello,
How you
Leo.
doing, Bree?
Oh, how about those Iowans, Leo? You passed a neat bill yesterday. I really, really appreciated that one.
I don't know if I would say neat, but you know,
Yeah, it was,
it's Kim
really
Reynolds, so you know we're working with
goddamn news.
I don't know, like a 16 IQ.
Yeah. Well, we declared war on Iowa here in Minnesota, and so we'll see on the other side, dude. I don't know if you want to come up here and get one of our uniforms or blue. And
Yeah, and anytime y'all want to, like Bree or Leo, yeah, you want to join, just say something out in the chat like that. We'll get you a link. Okay, not a problem. All right, so
I should clarify. I was being sarcastic when I said nobody ever gives me a link. I was being very
I
facetious.
give you a link, man. You're always welcome. So yeah, we've got an apologist
I
here.
believe everybody in your Discord is kind of vetted, right?
Yeah,
Just like what I always do for Slim's stream is just drop the link in the Discord, and the people that
Yeah.
want to join can join.
Yeah.
It's just
I
a
just-
silly idea.
I'm always messing up Discord though. I still don't have the hang of it. It's so confusing how to do things. Anyway, so
Boomer.
back to our pastor. What did I say his name was? Okay, we got Pastor Tom, right? All right,
No,
Pastor
no.
Tom. All right, Pastor Tom here, apparently with no credentials, is going to tell us all about evolution. And this just came out last week.
Before you start, just want to say his name's Thomas, Pastor Thomas. There is a certain sense of irony calling him Thomas, right? His parents obviously had, because he has no doubts
No doubts.
whatsoever.
So we're gonna see what Pastor Tom has to say, and there is something specific that is the reason why I chose this video that he's gonna say that we're gonna specifically address and call him out on, because
Victoria.
it bugged a couple of us. So hello Victoria, good to see you. And we've got Martin, or is it Martine? Hello. And oh man, with the tough names, Chovy.
Jovi already blocked.
Chovy's already gone. Okay.
that was
Well, that's unfortunate.
The wrenches are
The wrenches are on it.
on the.
Yeah. Hey, folks.
They're on the lookout.
Yeah, folks. Come on. we're not here to start any trouble, and you're not going to bother us, okay? So
we're here to say nice things about creationists is what we're going to do.
We're a great bunch of folks here. So it's not.
I'm in a really forgiving mood today, and I really want to hear.
We already vented at the beginning of the show, so we're good to go. All right.
Oh,
so here we go.
Yet.
I'm not done. Well, a little bit. Okay.
It's warmed up.
And it's going to be a two-part series. This week and next week, we're going to finish up these things about creation versus evolution, this great debate, just so we have our head wrapped around a little bit of it. And hopefully this test you're about to get, this taste of what we're talking about, will be enough to go like, hey, I want the information on that so that I can answer these things effectively with the people that I'm around.
I don't think his head's going to fit around it.
Yeah. And I will fix it, man. Yeah. I will fix the link in the description and everything. Just for transparency, I did trim off the beginning and the end because they have music and stuff and everything. So, but otherwise,
and a prayer, right? He had a prayer too.
Yeah, I think he's got a little prayer I left in there because it was real quick. Okay. But most of the otherwise, I didn't mess with it or anything like that. But I did cut that stuff.
In heaven.
So Genesis chapter 1 and verse 1, I gave you that one verse to write down. Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, if you have your Bibles there, you want to underline a specific part of the phraseology in verse 1. It says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And I want you to underline...
That is not actually how it would be stated if you translated it literally from the original language. It would translate as... in the, something like in the beginning when God creates or something like that. It's a completely different phraseology if it were translated literally. So technically it isn't in the beginning God created.
Okay, we're 30 seconds in, right?
Has everybody got it wrote down and underlined? Okay.
Oh yeah.
The term God created. In the beginning, God created.
It reminds me of a particular apologist who some might know. Can't remember his name, but he used to say, "In the beginning, yes or no." That's all I'll say. For those that know who he is, that's hilarious.
Well, I'm not going to give it. I'm not going to give it away because he's going to say again where he's getting his information from, and you'll all be familiar with who he's getting his info from, and a lot of it you might recognize.
Run a poll, Dave. Run a poll and have people vote on who they think it's going to be. He's going to cite. Is it Ken Ham? Is it Ken Hovind? Is it?
No, it's okay. I'm not going to give it away.
Options. Just give two options. The person it is and anybody else, all right? And see if the people can get it.
I've never done one. How do you do it?
Does it start with an H or does it start with an H?
I don't know if I can do polls.
Yeah, you can on your live stream on YouTube. You just
go
to that little plus sign and you start poll.
Oh, the plus sign. Okay, you go to the plus sign. Okay.
Yeah.
Start a poll. All right.
And you pull your audience and you say, "Hey, is
Jesus." We had a few people watching tonight.
In concert with what Leo said about Genesis 1:1 there, I often like to go to the what's it called? The Jerusalem. I can't remember the name of the source. It's a Jewish group that does a translation of the Hebrew Old Testament, the Hebrew Bible, and I'm looking at the Hebrew, which it takes me forever to try to read, so I'm just going to go with their translation. It says, "When God began to create heaven and earth." So it's that's
what it is. When God began to create.
Yeah, and so it's a totally different idea. It's basically indicating that the earth was there, but it was just without form and void. There was something there, and God, began creating the heavens and earth from that.
Yeah, and begin creating could be interpreted as evolution. So,
well, yeah, I made my first poll. Okay.
I want to tell the people in the person, whoever it is that keeps making the sock accounts, you're not being silenced for being opposition. You're being you're being confrontational. You can have a conversation, a dialogue with us like an adult.
Yep.
And you can ask questions in the side chat, and I'm sure our hosts will be gracious enough to answer them, or to try to answer as best we can. But if you're just going to sit here and insult people, then what's the benefit of keeping you keeping your comments up? All right, I'll shut up now.
Yeah, we don't mind. We have Christians and other folks come through all the time, and everybody's just fine. I mean, apparently you don't want to just talk. It's just a troll, and that's why we have moderators. And sorry, I trust my moderators, and here, we're pretty lenient. Okay. We don't have a lot of rules here or anything. So if you're getting hit by a wrench, sorry, you obviously deserve it.
Can you? I'm dual streaming on my channel. Can you moderate on my channel, or I don't think you can.
You're simul streaming.
Yeah,
you all both have your own separate moderation.
Whoever
your live chat.
Whoever your wrenches are can take care of it, Mike.
Okay.
I'm in both chats though, and your chat looks chill. It doesn't look like there's anything.
I don't know why they're invading me. Most evenings, we don't have a problem here.
I love you guys are like, I don't know why these guys coming to me, and you all freaking covered Jim Bob and talk about freaking Jim Bob, and then you're like, oh, why these freaking trolls come over here?
But they still don't though. We don't get that many though. Really, they get bored because we won't engage. So we won't engage with them. Yeah, so they go way bored.
I love it when an obnoxious Christian finally goes, "This is boring," because I've actually seen them do that. This is boring. Bye.
Yeah, they can't knock the smile off my face. So it gets.
So look at the trees timed out. Timed out. TK breaks the rules on my channel. So apparently,
and right. I thought Christians were good people. Like
it happens. It happens, and
why are they picking fights?
I don't know.
And don't say because they're defending God, because if God needs defending, then he ain't no God.
We're not troublemakers here. You won't find a better crowd of folks than you see right here. You just won't.
I'm gonna have to time Spooky out. I think he's talking about trolls.
Oh, Spooky, come on now.
Oh no, it's got to be done. 48-hour ban.
The heavens and the earth. Now, in Genesis, you got your Bibles open to Genesis. I'm going to have you circle some things and highlight some stuff.
Oh, no.
We'll jump down to verse 3 where it says, Then God said, let there be light, and there was light. God saw that the light was what? Good. And God separated the light from the darkness. Circle the word good right light. There.
I thought it was bright.
Light good. Light is
light
good.
Light dark bad. Light good.
I thought it was bright.
I think he's already getting carried away with
it's bright. That's what God said.
That's what those evolutionist physicists want you to think, that it's bright.
It's Alice's restaurant with the circles and arrows on the 8x10 glossies.
Yep. Put number 1 over in the margin to the left. That's the first good that it says. Jump down to verse 10. God called the dry earth and the gathering of the waters. He called seas, and God saw that it was good.
Wet.
Circle the word
good. Water good.
Wrong again. It said wet.
Water's good.
Water's good.
Yes,
all right.
Indeed.
Circles
and
arrows.
Water sucks. It really, really sucks.
No, wet is good. Oh.
Bree loves the water. I see you in the pool all the time. Living it up down there.
Nope. Y'all didn't watch Waterboy.
Oh, yeah.
Henry Winkler sings that.
Right there, put number 2 there to the left of verse 10. Go down to verse 12. As the earth was brought forth, vegetation, plants yielding seed of their kind, and trees bearing fruit with seed in them after their kind, and God saw that it was good. Circle
that.
That was number 2.
All the seeds and everything are good too.
And you know what? This is a clear a clear example of a circle jerk.
Yeah.
Oh, hell, man.
Yeah.
Sorry. This is. It's like is he teaching like for like elementary school or something? Because that's the way he's talking.
I don't know. Yeah, the circle every word thing is a little annoying, and I never understood why somebody wanted to write all over their Bibles, but I guess it's a thing. I didn't grow up that way. We didn't write all over our Bibles, so.
The word good right there in verse 12 and put number 3 next to it. Jump over to verse 18. And to the govern the day and the night.
Is he really going to count every good in the whole fucking chapter?
Are we doing like Bible code? I didn't even bring my Bible with me.
Damn.
Oh my fucking God.
I think the answer to this one is sleepy.
Yeah, he'll get rolling here in a minute. This is his
God
intro.
saw that it was good. Put number 4 there and circle the word good in verse 18.
4. All 4 things that we know are good. All right, we're making progress.
Verse 21.
Terrible Christian.
God created the seas, the monsters, and every living creature that moves.
The
monsters.
And the monsters. Oh,
What the fuck?
no.
And they were good?
Leo, does it say monsters?
God. I had one under my bed when I was a kid, and it wasn't good.
He said, and God created the monsters. Is that what it says on the fifth? Was it? Are we on the 5th day?
Chapter 18, I think he said.
Yeah, I don't remember
verse
monsters.
Verse 18.
The chat doesn't remember monsters.
Is it talking about
hell,
like
Ted? What are you
Leviathan and all
doing?
that kind of stuff?
I think it says all the beasts of the sea or something,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
all the beasts, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
What? Beasts, not monsters. I don't remember any monsters. But I don't know. And Bree would know. And if Bree doesn't know, I might know.
Yeah. If there were monsters in the Bible.
Yeah, we'd be into that, wouldn't we, Bree?
Yeah. I know every monster in the Bible by name, sir.
Really? All right. So name them in
them.
alphabetical order right now. Let's go. 30 seconds.
I guess we'd start with Behemoth, wouldn't it?
Somebody ban Leo.
I don't know. I don't know all the monsters. Would it start with Behemoth?
Behemoth and Leviathan are the 2 I know.
Aardvark must be the first one, surely.
I know there's like a half a dozen of them, though.
The great fish that from the Noah or from the Jonah story, but you got to take that as being probably a whale.
Big question here. Big question here. Would God be considered a monster from the Bible?
Yes.
I would say
in my
so.
book, he is.
Probably unanimous on that. Yeah.
With which the waters swarmed with their kind, and every winged bird after its kind. And God saw that it was good. Put number 5 right there next to verse 21. And then jump down to verse 25. God made the beasts of the earth after their kind, and the cattle after their kind, and everything that creeps on the ground after its kind. And God saw that it was good. Number 6.
Okay, everything that is good. So, okay. You could have just summarized that at the beginning.
Yeah.
And just said everything is good, right?
Can we fast forward and see where this is going? Because
put number 6
speed it up
right there.
At least.
And then jump down to verse 31. God saw all that he had made.
Hang on. Stop it there. Okay, so, yeah, look, just to say this. Theologically, right, doesn't it say that God created the good and the evil?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah. It does. So how can the evil be good? Because that's what he's comparing it against. I mean, this surely is a contradiction. Straight up contradiction. And God created the good and the evil, and he saw that it was good. Thank you.
Well, that is the apologist argument, though.
Underline it. Use a highlight pen.
And put circles and arrows and 8x10 glossy pictures. I don't.
Alice's restaurant.
That's right. That's all I keep hearing from him. It just keeps going through my head with 8x10 glossy pictures, 8x10 glossy pictures with circles and arrows on each and every one of them, showing where all the pieces of garbage were in the picture.
Very good.
And
there was evening and there was morning, the 6th day. Put a number 7 right there.
All right, we got creation down.
7 goods that we're going to talk about. That will be the foundation of what we're talking about. I think we're oftentimes intimidated by people who are educated in science.
There it is.
Oh no!
Oh, poor boy.
Don't be intimidated by the people who know what they're talking about. Okay.
And when we might not know the answers,
listen and learn.
You might be a professing Christian, but if you answer a question, we oftentimes remain silent when we get confronted with somebody who's got a science background because we're afraid we're going to be wrong or we don't know the answer of that.
Answer, like on A-U.
I think it's a Louisiana drawl or something.
Answer? No, I've never heard of that anywhere in the U.S.
There's some other words I think he says in a unique way too.
And we try to make it fit in the Bible so we can find a happy median. And this is what a lot of people do. This is why there's a young earth theorist and old earth theorists in the Bible, because they're trying to reconcile science and
that's why there's an answer and an officer.
Yeah.
Answer.
Theorists. You guys aren't theorists.
Theorists, yeah. That was a good word there. Well, you're going to find out which way he's going in just a second here.
God's word. But at the very beginning, in the first verse where it says God created, this is the foundation of what we believe. Because if chapters 1 through 11 of Genesis are not true, how can the rest of the Bible be true?
All right, well, there's your first hint.
Quite easily, actually. Like, what the fuck? What kind of claim is that?
So how did God create you, blurbing idiot? I mean...
There's your first hint for the poll we've got going there. So I did my first poll. So everybody participate in my first poll ever.
You're pretty proud of that.
Who do you think it's going to be there? And you just got your first hint with the words he just said. So I'll let you know there. There's somebody that is very adamant about Genesis 1 through 11.
Yeah. We got a problem with that right from the get-go. And so if we have a foundation that's crumbling because we can't quite swallow chapters 1 through 11 in Genesis, it's hard to stand up for the rest of the scripture as it's written. So Ken Ham teaches his students on how to think when debating a non-Christian.
There we go.
There we go.
Your poll is literally 50-50.
Is
I
it
was wrong.
Reverend Ham.
50-50. Okay, well.
It's perfectly 50. End it now because he just gave the answer in that way.
Yeah, we just gave it. He is going. Hang on, let me get this. All right, thanks for participating in my first poll. That was fun. Okay.
24 votes. That's a pretty active poll too. You should do more polls like we do this because people seem to like interacting with them.
Yeah,
I'm going to work on that.
YouTube does see that this interaction, so.
Yeah. I'm going to work on that. Thanks. Yeah, thanks, folks. 24. All right. So we were split. I couldn't really get. It was a 50-50 guess, I guess. All right. So it is. Yeah, he is a fan of Ham. Among you're going to hear some more names too. Mostly though, the things you're hearing is. I picked it up right away. It's AIG.
Yes. Can I ask everybody here a quick question?
Yeah.
Sure. Who the fuck shows up to a random ass stream on YouTube talking about this and asks the chat how many people in the chat are married and have children? How much awareness do you have to lack to think that is even remotely relevant to the discussion being had here tonight? I'm just so baffled by this. Can anybody help me out?
Yeah, what does our breeding status have to do with whether or not we can assess?
I don't know.
It's not a bot.
I'm married and I have kids. So if that satisfies you,
I tried to put a comment in. YouTube wouldn't let me. I said I shot the wives and drowned the kids. What the hell is wrong with YouTube? I mean,
Briar, are you trying to breed me? Are you trying to breed me?
Why are you hiding the truth?
Bree's going to get everybody moist over here.
Let Briar
some people have a breeding kink. It's weird. It's like, oh yeah, moist. Take that elsewhere. We don't need to get everybody moist.
And
you got to remember too, their boldness. Some people are post breeding. You know, it's like okay, so you don't have kids, but actually you do. They're just grown up and out of the house.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to share with you this morning. He's the guy who built the Ark exhibit up there and did all that stuff. He is a guy who started ICR.org. Write that down. ICR.org, the Institute for Creation Research.
And if you don't know, that's where Ken Ham started out. It was a partnership, and then he kind of split it off. So,
yeah, it's also an oxymoron, creationist research.
Everything with creationist research is a moron of some kind.
And since he just brought up Ken Ham and the Ark, I wanted to let everybody know. And just so everybody knows, our friends over at the Kentucky Atheist, with the help of Jess and many others, are working on the Ark protest this year. And you can get all the information over at the Kentucky Atheist channel. Mike told me my links are messed up. I will fix the links in the description, but you can just type in the Kentucky Atheist and get all the information you need, or just wait till later. I'll fix the description. And they are involved in the Ark protest. Ken Ham has the Ark Park in Kentucky, and there was an annual protest every year on the day it opened. When we had the little health issue going around there, it kind of got interrupted. But they're trying to get it going again this year, because next year is going, I guess, to be a big one. It's going to be 10 years that the Ark Park's been open. So check it out. Support.
It's been that long
already. Yep. So get over there. They also have support links if you want to donate. He's got a great list of people, and this has already been updated. He's going to get a new ad out, I'm sure, pretty soon. So none of this is set in stone, but I can only tell you the list is growing. So they've got a lot of things involved. A lot of organizations are getting involved. Too much for me to all to name, but yeah, check out over at the Kentucky Atheist, and we will keep you updated here every week on what's going on with it.
There might be, yeah.
This is peopled and pushed and taught by scientists who have converted to Christianity and have a very clear view of both science in the world and a Christian perspective. So,
no, they don't. Just to be clear, people that work for creationist organizations, and I think it's almost everyone, even folks like William Lane Craig, work under a statement of faith. Basically, a statement of faith is a contract that says you will only say the things that the organization agrees with by their interpretation of the Bible. So when you're working under a statement of faith, you're automatically questionable as to how you're going to release any results you do as supposedly any research they're doing. Anybody disagree with that?
No. And
We're
basically,
going to get a chance. We're going to get a chance to test that out, because later on, this guy comes out with some hard, and I mean hard, to swallow evidence.
Oh yeah.
You're going to get a chance.
You can go there and type in one of your questions that you're struggling with, and it will take you and give you a scientific answer that will not contradict Scripture biblically. And this is where we...
Yes, it will not, because, again, they're operating under a statement of faith, so they will not contradict the Bible in anything they release.
And you want to be careful not to look at one of them science books, because those science books might contradict the Bible. So you want to just go to AIG for all of your science.
Well, I'm not going to tell anybody to not go look at the stuff, because, I mean, Ken Ham is one that I've followed for a long time.
I've got a 12-foot
absolutely go and see what they say, and then look up in comparison to, first of all, any sources they might give, and see if they're actually saying what that source says or not. And then go to the scientific literature and see, and, weigh it out for yourself. If Ken Ham is saying something and all the scientists in the world are saying the opposite, what are the odds that he's right? Mind you, he's not a scientist either.
So, and all of those things are answered in the Bible. We're going to get just to the tip of the iceberg this week and next week on it, but hopefully enough to get your palate going and going, man, that is a lot of cool information. Write down this word, apologia. Everybody say apologia. Apologia is where we get the word apologia.
Everybody say apologia. And if you don't know the channel Apologia, that's where Apologia gets the name from, is Apologia.
Apologetics from. It's the defense of Scripture. It's the defense of what we know. And so write the verse, Romans chapter 1 and verse 20. Romans chapter 1 verse 20.
Okay, we got to get a bingo card for this verse because it comes up almost every week, I think.
Yep,
that we cover anybody talking about the Bible and atheists, right?
20, it says, for since the creation of the world, Paul's writing to the church at Rome, for since the creation of the world, his invisible attributes.
Yep, and that's going to bug me every time that I'm going to go to hell because I can't see invisible things.
Yeah, I can't either.
I mean, come on. This is a tough standard to meet, isn't it? You want to talk about a tough standard. If you can't see invisible things, you're doomed, right?
His eternal power.
You can feel invisible things with your feel parts.
And divine nature have been clearly seen.
Not if they're invisible.
Understood through what has been made, so that they are without excuse.
Yep, and you throw in there, look at the trees. I know Look at the Trees was out there.
Brilliant.
It's where Look at the Trees gets Look at the Trees name, because you're just looking at something and you're saying, my God did this. And it's like, okay, good for you.
My God is an awesome God.
Oh, no. That's stuck in my head. I've got Chris Mallard's song stuck in my head with the crotch cooties and everything. That song just
that one drives me crazy. It gets stuck. It's like an earworm.
Me burrito espinado or something. It burns when I pee. Hey, girl, how you doing?
Everybody, we got a girly man in the chat.
We got a girl. What's up, girl?
Man, yeah.
Hello.
And we got tons of mice. Always a pleasure. Tons of mice. Good to see you. If I missed anybody else, hello. Thanks for joining. We got a lot of folks joining us tonight. Good to see everybody.
Oh, then they're probably on the other side.
That is going to be a very important verse that you want to put an asterisk next to, because as we bump into science in the world, it keeps coming back to this verse. That science actually corroborates what the Scripture has already said. And
then why does
it? That's an interesting interpretation.
Yep.
And again, this is AIG. This is one of their things that they try to say, is that they don't go up against science. They just make up their own to fit the Bible. And then they say, see, we're in full agreement, the science, the Bible, and we agree with it all. What a coinkydink, right?
What a kalinky clink.
What it already teaches. But if you were raised like me in a college, you were said, you know what, you evolved from monkeys, you evolved from apes, or this happened when lightning struck primordial ooze and sparked life into this puddle of ooze.
What school are they teaching that at? I've never. I mean, I know they use that as like a visual aid to say. I mean, it's just like the Descent of Man visual aid. It's not like literal.
I haven't heard about this bowl of goo or whatever the hell he's talking about.
Well, we were discussing that at the beginning when I was looking up his bio. He doesn't list anything, not even a divinity school degree or anything. So
he went to school in a bowl of goo.
Yeah, well, I'm questioning about the college thing. It's like, what did you take in college, and what were these classes that were saying this? Right? How much did you pay? How much did you pay for them?
from what he's saying, it sounds like he took a lot of drugs in college.
Yes, Sophia. I said coinkadink. I picked it up when I was a kid. I'm not sure where it comes from.
Oh, what a coinkadink.
Yes, something. It was a coinkadink, and sorry.
Life came from this, and we were taught this thing, and we were taught how to think, and that the deeper you dig, the older it is, and all this stuff that was taught to us as I was growing up and going through college, those things that we learned, this is the Cretaceous period, this is the Triassic period, and you're taught
the crustacean period. Okay.
That's when the crustaceans, when everything became crabs.
Oh, he's got some other good ones coming up, but yeah.
Where is this school that he went to? Was this in a church somewhere or?
During the Cretaceous period, all of these crabs crawled out of the raw earth.
I'm going to start using that. When I want to sound smart in the discussion, it's going to be like, yeah, but if you look back to the Cretaceous.
All these things based off of that, based off the paleontological record that is out there. That means the fossil records that are out there. And so you're going to see some of this stuff as I show you some of the pictures in it, and you're going to go, that's crazy. Why isn't some of this stuff out there, and why isn't it on the front page of some of the newspapers? Well, it's very simple.
People have to quit calling it the fossil record, because it's not a fucking record. Nobody sat there and did a record,
Are you going to go on the record with that?
Isn't it though?
Well, there are things that we could consider recorded,
the life that has existed, and
but not very well.
Morphologic change over the geologic time.
Yeah, I guess if you got a record that skips like hell, I mean, if you got a steady LP,
but a skipping record is still a record, right?
Waterstatin is literally like pressed images. It's like, people like a scrapbook. Mother Nature's
if you take an LP and you leave it in the back window of your Chevy for 6 months, then maybe. I don't know.
I thought that was a song from Supertramp.
That backs up the Bible. Whoever dictates the media is going to put or not put what it is out there. And so
okay, there we are again. Now we're going to the conspiracies, right? This is something else that AIG does. This is something that their show Answers News does, is that they look for clickbait stuff. They look for news headlines, and then they talk about it as if it's from the scientific aspect, often leaving out all the information that was actually in the paper or anything else, right? And this is what this is doing here too. The media, I don't care what the media says, right? Science doesn't care. This is something that Jay Bundy said to Michael Behe in his debate. We don't care about you writing books, right? So this is the Ken Ham lean of, it's just the media. And that's also why Ken Ham started his own research journal, because his scientists couldn't get published in respected journals. And he was getting a lot of pushback saying he's not in any, your scientists aren't in any journals. So Ken Ham resolved that, and he started his own journal, and he reviews everything that goes into the journal. So now all of a sudden, all of Ken Ham's scientists are published. Good for them. But it doesn't mean anything to science. So, but here's the lean though. I like I say, without him saying Ken Ham, I could pick all this up.
I can't get over the crustaceans.
You're still stuck on crustaceans.
I'm stuck on that, man. That's as bad as the raw earth thing, raw earth metals,
One of my heroes, Jacques Cousteau, discovered.
Here it comes.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Now, this is why I picked this video for today, because
one of my heroes, that's the name you expect to come out of somebody's mouth.
Yeah, he's the hero of evolution, right? Now, Jacques Cousteau, if you don't know who he is, was famous for basically inventing scuba diving gear, all right? He was an amateur inventor. He was in the Navy, the French Navy. because
he was an explorer.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, and he ended up doing a video documentary. There it is. Couldn't get the word out. He got into your first, National Geographic type stuff where he would go down with his scuba gear and a camera, and we got to see under the ocean and everything, right? Well, he's going to say something about Jacques Cousteau, and we're going to listen to what he has to say and pay close attention to what he's going to say because it's interesting.
And then we're gonna ask ChatGPT.
Everything was dead on the same strata level all around the world, and he discovered it through his core samplings that he ran into the ground all over the oceans in the world, only to find out that everything was dead on the same level. That didn't corroborate evolution.
All right, Mike, what does it say?
It says, this claim...
Hold on, wait.
We'll
get you up here. Hold on.
Okay, this claim that Jacques Cousteau took the ocean floor core samples, revealing everything is dead on the same strata level, is not supported by any credible evidence, nor is there any record of Cousteau making such a discovery. It appears to be an urban legend or misappropriation of Cousteau's work that some creationists used to argue for a single global flood event. Mainstream science has never documented any such finding. There's no published work from Cousteau of his team that matches the description. And they go on to explain where they probably got the myth. Basically. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff why this is not...
What I found was Cousteau talked about dead zones in the sea. Yeah, but he did not find one layer where everything was buried in it. No. And it wasn't his field, and he didn't have that's not what he did. He wasn't doing that.
Now, this is why I wanted to comment earlier about answers in Genesis and using them. Every single time I track down one of these things, what comes up is answers in Genesis and creation.com. And they get these little quote mine things, or they find something and then they repeat it to each other, and then it becomes a fact in their minds. And the only place they ever look is in creationist literature, and they start believing all this crap. And every one I've looked at, if you look at the actual quote, or you'll either find that the guy didn't say anything like that at all, and they totally made it up, or they took it out of context and blew it up. And just over and over again. These guys have got to get out of AIG and look at some other sources if they really want to be educated. I'd like to educate them.
One thing I will say about Mr. Cousteau is, having grown up in his era, it was absolutely fascinating to see the programs that were made on his work, because it was the first time people had seen under the sea. I mean that blows people's minds, but nobody had seen that far down. Certainly on camera, no, other than if you were an actual diver, you'd never seen that stuff before. So, he was a real revolutionary figure in the idea of not just scuba diving, but also recording what he saw, developing cameras which could go down to depths and actually film properly underneath the sea, lighting for the cameras, finding out where you could and couldn't actually photograph. And then later on, he actually bought a trawler and changed it into a sort of pseudo-scientific research vessel. And then, employed other scientists to come and do real science using his scuba gear, etc., and his expertise in how to dive. So, I mean, he opened the way for scientific research to be done under the sea.
Yeah, my favorite episode of his, that they did was when they did a deep sea station, where the divers would live. It was the one where they mixed helium with the air to keep them from getting the bends, and they all talked like Donald Duck. And of course, when these Jacques Cousteau documentaries and specials were going on, I was just a kid, so I just thought that was the funniest thing. And it was so cool to watch. And then, of course, they would do actual deep sea diving from that little station, and of course, that was incredible as well. So many new things, so many firsts.
There he is.
There's Jacques.
Yeah. I'm sure a lot of people got their interest in science from watching a Jacques Cousteau special.
Marine science, especially. He was a hugely important figure.
somebody named Zangaraya RC, the life itself comment, you should put that up, because that is where the core of all this is. It's a reflection of chemistry, basically, like how the orbitals of the elements, including the raw Earth ones, basically are why we have life. I can't get over the raw Earth and now the crustaceans. Raw Earth and the crustaceans.
It says life itself is a mere reflection of chemistry, upon which every galaxy is a nursery for life by.
That's right. And it is that carbon atom, that carbon atom and the few associated nitrogen, oxygen, the ones around it, that really get this thing rolling. And if you know anything about that, that is the beauty of nature that's all there. Go ahead.
Wide flood, that everything was wiped out at the same time. That's a problem.
No, just in fact here, there are core samples that have been taken all around the globe, not by Jacques Cousteau. And these core samples show different environments. They do not show one single environment. So you will have different environments around the globe, and then in the layers above and below, you will have different environments. You will have desert environments, forest environments, oceans, lakes, rivers, swamps, all the range over and over and over. And these things do not happen in this one single event. It is just not possible. And the earliest people that were the earliest so-called geologists realized this long ago.
Wait, you can't have
creationists
a forest and a swamp in the same time and an ocean?
Apparently,
that's impossible?
Well, in Ken Ham land, but in reality, like I say, even these folks, a lot of them were devout and stuff, because back in the day, being a scientist, it was tough to make a living, right? So a lot of folks had to either have somebody that would back them financially, or they had the little free time with the backing of a church, right? So a lot of these scientists were religious folks, and they discovered these layers had different environments, and that's why they realized that the Earth was actually very old. They didn't know how old, but they knew it was a lot older than thousands of years, because you had to have forests come and go, seas come and go, lakes come and go, swamps come and go, etc., over and over and over again. And they left evidence in these layers. And it doesn't matter how many times Ham or the Hawaiian shirt guy or any of the rest say it, there is not this big mass jumble. It is clearly, and it was clear to anybody that goes to look, these were different environments in these layers.
No. Clear to anybody that goes to look and is honest.
And they're honest, right? They don't work under a statement of faith.
Problem for scientists. Didn't make the front page of the Los Angeles Times or the New York Times. They just don't.
Well, I wonder why. You know, I mean, if somebody disproved a major scientific theory, I'm pretty sure it would be on the headlines. The reason that you couldn't find any of this in the headlines is because we already looked it up. Jacques Cousteau didn't disprove evolution. He did. He if anything, he was supporting evolution by documenting all the stuff under the sea, as Simos was saying.
And he was born Catholic, but he wasn't religious and never mentioned any religion throughout his life, according to ChatGPT. So
talk about it.
He was
what happens.
Yeah, for all we know, he could have been, devoutly religious, and again, it didn't have anything to do with what he was doing. And whether you like the guy or not, I mean, you shouldn't lie about somebody. I mean, especially when they're dead and gone. I mean, that's just poor taste, man.
Yeah.
Now in colleges is they didn't teach the paleontological record that was taught when I was in college. They just ignore it and don't talk about it anymore because they found out that everything's dead on the same strata level.
No, they didn't.
Right.
That never happened.
No such thing exists. This is false. Completely false.
That it's not older as it goes down.
Yes,
it's separated by only a few years or a couple months, not millions of years.
No way.
As we were.
Again, before they had modern dating methods, as I just said, just by examining the layers hundreds of years ago, they realized it was old because of the different environments and how long it would take to lay down all that deposition, et cetera, and they figured out, I think early estimates were at least millions of years.
He needs to stop tarnishing Jacques Cousteau's name with this nonsense.
I know.
You know?
Yeah.
That's
constantly doing dead people that can't defend themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And
well,
also,
like we were saying, those shows were great to watch when we were younger. It was the only thing out there, and they were showing this on whatever channel you could get, PBS or whatever, and for the first time you could see underwater and everything. And then he's going to bring up some kind of nonsense about him, and he said he's my hero or something like that, right? And it's like, how can he be your hero if you're going to make up stuff about the guy?
well, because he doesn't know who he is.
Like I said in the side chat here, Jacques Cousteau walked so people like Steve Irwin and Jack Hanna could run,
right.
when
definitely.
it comes to bringing animals to public knowledge.
Yeah. Also, like there are enough deposits on the land from ancient seas to show the age of the earth is old.
And
right?
I went snooping
people
around.
People knew that 200 years ago. People already worked that out. So this idea of creationism being like something which is scientifically provable is completely laughable. Even 200 years ago, people would laugh at that. So I think these
and I
guys
looked
are
around.
idiots.
Jacques didn't seem to have a bunch of skeletons in his closet or anything. There was some garbage out there that I couldn't verify. And other than that, he remarried 6 months after his wife passed away. So that was about it. Otherwise, he was
suspicious.
out. He was out scuba diving all the time. So
everybody knows you wait a year.
Yeah. Also, he was French.
He was French. So yeah. But otherwise,
But we're not holding that against him.
Yeah, I went looking and
explains why he was had mistresses. That's all.
Yeah, I didn't really see any reason why anybody shouldn't like the guy or make up stuff about him. So
taught, or how you possibly were taught, but it was just a few months. Well, when one looks around themselves, the Bible says, and that verse says that we just read in Romans, it's obvious that there's a God, and that this problem with evolution and the missing links that are there is that there are no missing links that we have to be able to corroborate those things.
Yeah, once again, you can have your God. Evolution doesn't care if there's a God or not, really, unless you're speaking about some intervention in the genome or something. But otherwise, it's just an explanation of life. You need to stop, really. It's just not a boogeyman. It's not. I've asked this question of creationists: which pages in the biology book can you teach and which can't you? And if you start doing that and you want to, we got to take this page out, you can't do that. You won't have a textbook when you're done. It's just not how it works.
But the scientists just ignore that and make what's called a presupposition. Everybody say presupposition.
Well, we just ignore the evidence, right? Just ignore it.
Project much?
Yeah. The presuppositional argument is a religious argument. It's a religious argument, isn't it, Mike?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and it's a bad one at that.
What does the chat GPT say? Is it a religious argument?
It doesn't work. Presuppositionalism.
Yeah, see what it says.
Okay. This is, you presuppose an idea that has to exist because you already have an answer. Okay.
Yeah, like the Bible that you...
That isn't what a presupposition is, by the way. Even under a religious context, that's not what it is.
And again, repeating Ken Ham, that's an organization with statements of faith, and they say what Ken Ham says, even if they're scientists, even though Ken Ham is not a scientist, nor is he a theologian. Ken Ham has a teaching degree. That's what he has. He can teach like grade school, okay?
In Europe, they're known as starters, by the way, presuppers.
Starters. Okay.
Yeah.
So Dave, I did two links for you, and I put it in private chat. So and I'll put them in public chat too on both channels.
Okay.
His first two, Evolution Part 1 and Part 2, the good stuff. Yeah,
the good stuff.
The good
Okay,
stuff.
we're going to get to that in just a minute. Romans chapter 10, verse 17. It says, so in the King James Version, it says, so then faith comes by hearing, and the hearing by the word of God. The NASB, if you have that, is the closest to the Greek and Hebrew there
just
is.
stop there,
that
please?
word right there is Christos.
Just stop there for me, Dave. Thank you. Okay, so anybody in chat has ever heard the voice of God? Could you please put in what he said to you? Because hearing's not going to cut it for me. I mean,
think he said put it in my mouth. I'm not sure though.
Thank you, Bree. I knew you would be one of the people that had heard God's voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
You
I
may
hear him
be
yelling,
using-
Mikey.
Yeah.
And then Bree went, "Oh my God!"
Yeah, and here it is.
You know, because you were there, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah. You know, them training facilities, they're learning you stuff, you know, and it's like, yeah. And
Yeah, every
sadly,
time
that's what we have going on in our government right now is that they don't like schools either because they're learning people stuff.
Every time I go to the liquor store to get my NA beers, I'm walking up to the far corner where they have the NA beer, non-alcoholic beer. I hear him saying, Mikey, stop looking at that vodka. All the time.
The struggle is real.
Michael hears make enchiladas this week.
Well,
that's a good
Mike,
voice to hear.
If you don't hear it from anybody else, I'm proud of you for ignoring those stupid bottles.
Oh yeah. For 18 years I managed to ignore it. So
here you go.
That's good.
It really says, so faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of Christ. Now, the translation there is when you look at that, and some of you Greek scholars who want to look up Christo is what it is, which means Christ or the anointed, is the word that they use there. They are alluding to the Trinity, that the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit are all one thing. And then it's saying this is what it is.
Talk about presuppositions. Also, I think he's talking about the Cretaceous period.
Yeah, is this a scientific theory? All three things are one thing?
I don't know.
Things are one thing.
That's what got me. That's what got me blocked by Jim Boob, was pressing where in the Bible does it describe the Trinity, right? It's like, well, if you take this and that and blah, and it's like, yeah, that's a lot of blah, blah. Strings and tacks all over the place.
I think it says it in John somewhere, but we all know what John is worth. Yeah.
And he's saying the word of Christ, the word of the Creator, because you're going to find in John that he says Jesus Christ is the one who created, and he was there during that time. And so all these...
Oh, we got to get everything from Jesus. Okay. Yeah, it does say something about I and the Father are one or something like that.
Yeah, also it says...
It's still kind of, you know, that has a lot of meanings.
The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost is mentioned all in one sentence.
Okay.
Somewhere in John, I don't know where.
I'm going to ask Jesus where it can give me some of that raw earth.
Raw earth.
Nice.
These things that seem like this seems...
Is that a raw flat earth?
I don't know. I'm going to barbecue it when I get it.
You should always boil your earth before you eat it, because
boiled earth.
Raw.
Yeah, Bree and Leo, I don't know if you kept up, but yesterday Trump said raw earth about 15 times during a press conference. He's looking for those raw
Zelenskyy,
earth. And I played it back over and over again. I said, is he saying raw earth? It's like, what the fuck?
I think he was trying to say rare earth, but he just was misreading
He was trying to, yeah, but he in his little mind, and we elected this guy president.
Right?
What the fuck?
Well,
some kind of weird
didn't.
I think most people here are probably viciously opposed to it, but
like Jesus is the Creator, and this is kind of weird over here when we read this in Genesis. How does this all tie together? And we're going to show you how it ties together. So it's obvious that we can.
I bet you don't, but we'll give you a shot.
See this creation as stated by faith. and faith comes by the hearing of the word of God. And these two need to come together in order for us.
Yes, always try and come together. That's the best.
Yeah, put it together for us. That's what we're here for.
Combine it with another imaginary thing, and you get something that is faith. That's what faith is. Two imaginary things put together.
Yeah.
But it's in an old book. It's mysterious, and I've got it's not for a Saturday because it's from a bigger channel. I tried. These are the smaller channels we like to cover here on Saturdays.
Oh, the Voice of God and Witchmaster General have joined us.
Oh, hello. I've got I do have this video though of this pastor talking about things, and he goes off into aliens and the Bible, and that he's friends with L.A. Marzulli. He's pretty farm out. And Mike, this just might be the great day for you to do you know what. And we could cover this video because you need to be in an altered state to listen to what this guy has to say.
Let me go grind some right now. I'll go grind 4 grams of hate.
Truth in Scripture when we're talking to somebody else, to our non-Christian and sometimes professing Christian friends. And I say professing Christian friends because I've gotten into debates with people who had been Christians for 10 years. They go, I believe in evolution.
Yeah. There you go.
Wow.
Why?
Because most people are Christian in the U.S. and you're in the U.S. and most people believe in evolution and you're a people.
It's weird how that works out, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a mystery.
Yeah. So I should point out right here. In like about 5 biblical passages, they contrast the trusting the word of man or the word of God. Well, when you read the word of God and you get up and preach to a bunch of people, whose word are we hearing? The word of God or the word of man interpreting the word of God? So when you talk about the word of man, all of you guys, all of you pastors are reading the biblical text and you're interpreting it. And that, my friend, is the word of man.
Well, if they like the pastor, then it's the word of God.
Yeah,
if they don't, then it's the word of man. That's kind of how Christians operate in the pews.
Well, you can always tell it if it's the word of man because you can hear it, unlike the word of God.
You can hear the word, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas God is only ever said, as far as I'm aware,
can't hear it. Can't hear the word of God. Cannot hear the word of God.
Then who keeps asking me to put it in their mouth?
Can't
Stop
see
lying
the
to me.
Can't see the evidence. Can't hear the word.
Stop lying to me, Simus.
Well, just saying.
It says put it in.
So I have 7 places here from ChatGPT where the word of man is contrasted with the word of God. And I'd like these guys to read all of these and think about it just for a second. Think about what you're doing when you're reinterpreting Genesis according to your own views.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
So we met some evolutionists that are Christians. What's next, my friend?
All right. 1 second. I was trying to fix a couple of these links here.
Oh, okay.
In between them.
Oh, that does actually remind me there while you're doing that. I'll just chat randomly. I did hear the voice of God once. And like Austin said, it turns out it was my mother. And she told me that she was washing too many of my socks. And this, incidentally, was just after my crustaceous period. And
well,
your crustaceous
period. It brought me up sharp, I'm telling you.
Yep.
I didn't give her so much work in the future.
So
you
one
kept
time,
using the same sock?
Thank you.
One time, me and my first wife and best friend went to Blue Rock and we did some blue Easter egg acid, which is 1,300 micrograms. And I was laying on the rock looking up the sky, and there were all these clouds rolling across the skies of northern Minnesota. And I heard and saw something in the clouds. It was a sound and it was a word that God told me. And do you know what it was? Ram. And I've been trying to figure it out ever since. It said Ram. Like,
okay,
what the fuck is that?
for those of you that don't know, 1,300 milligrams of acid is what is colloquially known as a heroic dose.
That is a heroic dose. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway, but
not everybody's cut out to be a hero.
Yeah, I heard it and saw it at the same time, which is weird, but the two senses blended together, and it was a really powerful feeling to see this and hear this, and I have no idea what it means, but it was REM. I thought it was, at the time I told my friends that it was the sound that the universe makes. So anyway,
that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, the sound the universe makes when a primate's staring at it. What's happening, Dave? What's happening, Dave?
Okay, I got the last one. I fixed Bree here. I think I've got the links fixed.
I was already fixed. Trust me.
Oh, you fixed.
Oh,
I wouldn't be so outgoing if I wasn't fixed.
Yeah.
I don't need any more kids.
I was trying to explain to my cat Snack today that, I brush his hair so the girls are going to love Snack and they're going to come to Snack, but to have sex with Snack, but Snack doesn't know what that is because Snack is fixed.
We got, while I'm at it.
Little kitty has no balls.
oh.
Okay. Yeah, he's minus balls.
Yeah, it happens.
Yep. They're happier that way, actually. I would have been happier if my dad had done that for me. Son of a bitch,
Yeah.
he should have done that when I was
Peace and quiet.
Yeah. Life would have been simpler.
Simpler, maybe, but
I wanted to
I would have been a scientist.
I wanted to drop Leo down in there too.
I would have been a scientist instead of a regular.
Leo there too. All right. Hopefully the links are fixed now, folks. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
Okay. Well, let me see.
Let me see what it does now.
Let me see if I can get it to work over here. Whatever. Hey, Loki. What's up?
I don't know. Like I said, I've had problems a couple of times putting the links in there, and I don't know what the problem is, but I need to figure out what it is because it bugs me that it doesn't work. When I
Somebody
thought I had
hacked
it all set to go.
Yahoo hacked my Google Chrome. So, like every time I do a search or every other time it goes to Yahoo. And I'm like, what the
See, they're still not working. Page not found. What?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, folks, I don't know.
Had that, like, yeah, those are some certain settings that get changed.
Yeah, you want to go to your settings. If that happens, and you want to change the browser setting. Yeah. Yeah, you'll go to
I did that.
Studio.
No,
you'll go to search it. Yeah, you go to search engine, then you'll have to go to. You want to take Yahoo off there because it's.
I did. I did.
You have it'll reload it on there every time you restart your computer, but you have to do that every time because you got malware. There's no real way to get rid of it, but you can.
Yeah, you got to figure out which add-on is doing that.
Yeah, it's not in that part. It's not in settings. Yahoo isn't in there, hasn't been in there, but still somehow they commandeered every time I do a search. So I'm going to have to, I think I'm going to dump Chrome and go to Opera. I don't know. That'll solve the problem. I have no idea. I shut off my
Chrome once and go to like Firefox.
Yeah, I did, and then I had to go back, and then but no, Opera is pretty goddamn good. Opera is pretty damn good. So I think
I'm using Brave. That's pretty good. Basically the same as Chrome, but it blocks ads.
Yeah, I got ad blocking and all kinds of shit set. I don't know what the hell happened. Anyway,
I will fix it. I don't know what's going on. I haven't had any problems before, except when I did through StreamYard, and now I don't know. All right, well, some got messed up. I'll fix it. I will fix the links, but sorry
Wait a
about
minute,
that.
one of them worked.
Did it work?
One of them did, I think. Where the hell did I find that? Oh no, it was something else. I'm sorry. I made a mistake.
Yeah, well, I don't understand, because if you go to, when I first click on it, it has all the YouTube things on mine, which, has everybody's name, but then it disappears.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, mine does that as well. It also did it the first time I clicked on it a few days ago. Wasn't so quick to get rid of it. So. Oh well.
But it has the same dots, but if I click on the R and Raw one, that one works.
Hmm.
But if I click on,
Oh no, mine's not working either.
if I click on somebody else's,
I put 2 of them in private chat for you. They should be complete if you copy that. The two evolution ones. So if you copy that whole thing, you should get a complete thing. I think it works. Let me see if it works on mine, because I saved it on mine.
That's weird.
Let's see. Oh no. Yeah, it works on mine. So if you copy those 2, I fixed 2 for you anyway. I don't know what the hell. I don't know what the other videos are. So
it's just our, everybody's links that are. You always put everybody's links in the description, and they're not working tonight for some reason. But yeah, the other video, like we were talking about earlier with the Zelenskyy thing, I do have the R and Raw video linked in the description below. And if you click on that, that works. But if I click on people's channels, those aren't working. So there's something wrong. It's I don't know. It's probably just a hiccup with YouTube. So I'm not gonna worry about it right now. All right. We wasted too much time on it. Sorry.
I'm like, how do you do that? How can you believe it? Well, I believe the interpretation of a day is in error in the scripture. So they go all the way to Genesis chapter 1 and say the interpretation of the word day, because in all those.
Did he just say there was an error in the Bible?
An error, right? No, he said that that they're saying that there's an error in the Bible, that they didn't mean day, they meant millions of years. Well, no, that's not where the error is. The error is when you read the story and you miss the point entirely, what Genesis was all about. That's the error. And this dude here on the screen, he's the one making the error.
Here's the day age. And it's called the day age theory. In some places you talk about the day of the Lord, or back in that day, or in that day, meaning the future of, like the apocalypse or what have you. That's a kind of a vague word that means a long period of time. Whereas you could also have day, which is morning and evening, 24-hour period. And so what people began to do was say, okay, well, when it says morning and evening were the first day, it meant that the long period of time kind of day. And so from there, they begin to extrapolate and just, kind of obfuscate and say millions of years or thousands of years or whatever. So that's how it developed, and that's how it was explained to me whenever I was, going to Bible study classes as a kid.
So in 1959, Reverend Peterson sat me down on the steps of the church when I asked him about millions of years and dinosaurs, and he said, "Son, let me tell you what a metaphor is." Back in like 1959, Christians believed in evolution. For God's sake, you don't have to fight with science. Reverend Peterson,
I thought that was going to go a completely different direction, Mike. I am relieved. I am relieved.
Yeah, he explained to me what a metaphor was, and he explained how Genesis was a metaphor for a bigger picture, basically. Anyway.
Good. I mean, basically, it says somewhere, doesn't it? Like a day is like 1,000 years, except a lot shorter.
He's going to bring that up.
that was the bit they missed, right? They just got to the halfway through, like usual. They get halfway through the sentence. They just
No, he's
forget
going to
about
bring
the
that
end
up in a minute.
A day is like 1,000 years, except a lot shorter.
Yeah,
that's the full sentence.
Scott's typing.
Who's trying to get through their keyboard?
Scott's typing.
I'm doing it, and I'm happy because I'm saying hi to Robin Webster. So,
hello, Robin. Good to
proud
see
to
you.
say hi to the Robin Webster.
And Sydney's here, and Jasper's here. Hello, everybody.
Scott, you are the thunder in my ears.
Hello. And he says these things over and over again through the scripture. They say that's a misinterpretation. It's actually millions of years or billions of years that happened between that.
Billions.
And they use the verse out of context.
Let me just say this. They knew what billions were back then. Right? They even had a word for it.
Yeah.
Like that's why they say, yeah, how long should I, how long should I forgive him for? 7 times 70. Right? Have you not heard that one? Because that's a very large number for people back then.
Number. Yeah.
7 times 70. Let me just say it's 490 compared to a billion, which this guy thinks that they knew about. I mean, this is delusional rubbish. Go ahead, that's it. Just a bit of a rant.
Play this.
Peter alludes to that to God.
No, he doesn't.
A day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years like a day, and they use that as the thing to justify what they're saying. But there's a stretch in that is huge, and there are books out there that will help you understand that. One of them is called Information, and by Dr. Warner Gift. Another one is Replacing Darwinism, or Replacing Darwin and the Origin of Species. And this is a little.
They're all AIG.
AIG books.
Dr. Warner Grift, not gift, Grift.
Yeah. What's his name? Warner Gift. I think it's Gift. It's not Grift.
Grift, yeah.
Yeah, but I think Grift is more accurate.
I think so.
I think you need to get some better books, dude.
Yeah, and
Teddy,
I bet
there's
you.
a book.
Sorry, just another little thing. I bet you that book does not mention Gödel's incompleteness theorem.
No, it probably doesn't.
Go ahead.
That says Darwinism made simple. That's the one I would get right here. And so with those, you're going to get some information. The other book that I want to show you is this book called Traced for you science guys, for you college students. This is an awesome book because we're going to talk about it just a
That's also Jensen. That's all Nathaniel Jensen stuff.
Nathaniel Jensen's bullshit.
moment on what this means scientifically speaking. And I don't want to get too heavy.
It doesn't mean anything because that's why he's discredited by everybody, and anybody that'll even look at his stuff just shakes their head.
He's figured out the entire history of like primates and humans, and unless you say the word Neanderthal, then Jensen runs away like a little cockroach. Because he doesn't address Neanderthals at all in his shit, he just totally misses that part.
Yeah, I like the idea that he's got a book called Darwinism Made Simple. I mean, like Darwin's book is a really hell of a good read. Just to put that out there, if anybody's ever not read it, I would highly recommend reading The Origin.
I own it, but I've never felt compelled to read it. And I study molecular evolution.
He's an excellent author. Yeah, he's an excellent author. I wouldn't read it for the science because that's a little dated, but I would read it for the way his prose. I think he's an excellent author. Anyway, just my presuppositions.
Because I want to keep it scriptural. I want to stay on task. You can dig down a little bit deeper if you have a bent for that. But let's try to keep it scripturally. So the origins are a matter of history. Origins are a matter of history. So this is the present in which we live right now, and trying to understand what happened in the past to make what our reality is now dependent on the past. However, we can watch a good mystery movie on TV, and you can believe as you're going through this mystery movie, like we oftentimes do, and watch these stories, and in the last second, near the end of the movie, there's this detail that was missed in this movie that is now brought up again, and we realize we were wrong the whole time, and it was this other thing. It wasn't.
That's like reading the Bible and then finding.
Yeah, exactly. You were wrong the whole time.
And then you get to John, and he just totally blows your mind.
Oops.
Fucking hell.
You can't explain that otherwise, except for the fact that the Word of God says grace.
And there's
so that
people
they could
stupider
increase
than
their
him
giving
because they're
they were
sitting
already
there
giving
listening
over
to
and
him,
above what they were
thinking
already
he's
giving.
smart.
And so they said, we're going to do this in faith, God, because we trust you. And sure enough, he ends up supplying a need beyond what they were already giving.
Fair
You
enough.
can't explain that otherwise, except for the fact that the Word of God
You can't
says,
explain
"Test
it."
me in this."
Yeah.
So on every tangible aspect of the Scripture, when we apply it, we see those results. So it's going to come down to this: faith or lack of faith. This is where we're going to stand on those things. So for the evolutionists, we have to start from where we are and go backwards to decide on how we got here. For the Christian, we have a revelatory truth that this, in fact, is what happened in the past, and we reference it to tell us how we got to the present. Now, let me reiterate again. It has never been proven wrong scientifically or historically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Shall
clearly,
we go through Genesis again? It's wrong. It's
well,
wrong.
he did. He just said it's not a day. He just said there was an error in it, and now he's saying it's never been proven wrong, apart from this error, obviously. So, how many more errors are there that he's not telling us about?
I am looking forward to missing T-Jump talking to Jim Bob tonight. I'm looking forward to missing that.
Ah, yeah, great.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's going to be a shit show.
It's going to be a shit show. Of course it is.
It's going to be a shit show, yeah.
And
anyway,
what I mean by that,
God is probably yelling at this dude right now. Please listen to me, dude. It's only a metaphor. I was waxing poetic.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. 39 authors over 1,500 years on 3 different continents. When a guy says Bethany is 1.5 miles outside of Jerusalem, if it happened to say Bethany was 12 miles outside of Jerusalem, it would be wrong. And
Scott.
so even down to the...
What?
Okay. Is Bethany 1.2 miles outside?
Do we know where ancient Bethany was? I mean, I'm not
Did
sure
they even have miles?
No, and how often has the Bible been retranslated or changed or like so? Yeah, when then they figured out how far it was, they probably added that to the Bible.
And repeating somebody else is repeating somebody else. So it doesn't matter what they repeated, whether it was right or wrong, and nobody disagrees that there are things in the Bible like people and places that exist, and some of them still exist today.
So Bethany was about 2 miles east of Jerusalem. Used to be, but it's not there anymore. So the Bible is wrong now. The Bible's wrong because Bethany's not there anymore.
Yeah. And don't mention Mount Sinai, by the way, because they've got no fucking idea where that is.
Yeah. How many miles east of
distances
Jerusalem
between the
was
cities
that?
that are written from a person writing this historically, it is accurate in everything. It has never been proven wrong historically.
I think Mike just proved you wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also like somebody sitting in that time, knowing that distance, could still make up a story.
Sure.
It's like if you'd write a fictional book now and you'd get the distance between New York and Washington, D.C. correct in your book. That doesn't mean your whole book is correct. That is such a non-detail like that. Like
it's desperate for sure.
Yeah, it's not like that. That is something that divine that it's like, ooh, how could they otherwise have known the distance if the whole book wasn't real? Like, well, yeah, I can make up a story and still use correct distances.
Yeah, but Stephen King got that thing wrong about Castle Rock. Okay, so like there is no Castle Rock, but he got all the other towns right.
Yeah. Well, and once again, there are fictional stories that are written with real places in them, and that doesn't mean the rest of the story is true. Just because you include a real city or real street or real address or any of that.
And
Doesn't matter.
And even if those distances between them are correct.
Even if the distances are correct, even down to the exact cubit.
Whatever that may be.
For scientifically, there's no contradiction in the science where it talks about its truth. We come to the first 11 chapters of Genesis and we go, he created it in 6 days.
Bushes burning.
And at the
all those wonderful things.
end of it,
Why did it take him 6 days?
Created, and he said it was.
I don't know.
I thought he was timeless and all that shit. Why did it take him 6 days? I don't get that.
Yeah. And it doesn't make any sense because...
And then he had to rest. He had to rest.
He had to rest. And he seems to keep creating light a couple of times, and it's confusing.
Very good.
Oh.
We know it was very good. We went through that at the beginning. Everything is very good, including evil. That's very good.
It was so good.
Especially evil. That's right.
Yeah.
Am I going to believe that? Or am I going to believe the world, my professor who says that's impossible? We had to have evolved. Now here's the problem.
And again, these professors, is this from like God's Not Dead or something or whatever, you know? It's always these professors are up there telling everybody, there's no God, it's all evolution. And one of them was talking, I don't know if this was him or one of them they blur together, but he was saying he was in an art class or something, and the professor was up there saying, there's no God, this in an art class? This is even like a philosophy class or anything. And I always go back to the God's Not Dead movies where they make up these professors that are spending the whole day telling everybody's kids there's no God. And I call baloney, all right? I just call baloney.
Yeah, also, it's not the professors that are saying that this is true, it's the evidence which is saying it's true. So, you know, just to point that out, but, you know, your professor is going to tell you what the evidence is, and you don't have to believe him. You can go out and check it yourself, but of course that would be hard work, and you'd have to have at least some semblance of integrity and intelligence to be able to do that. And I'm not sure that somebody who is has worked all their life in a church and has all of these presuppositions and doesn't know the difference between a billion years and a day, I don't think that kind of person is really the person you want to listen to for truth. I mean, if you're complaining about professors standing at the front presenting evidence to you, well, then the same thing could be said for your flock. They can equally say, well, what's the evidence, please? And of course, you don't have any. You just wave a book at them and go, well, it says here in this book. Well, that's the very thing that you're complaining about the professors doing.
Yeah.
So, hypocrite much?
Robin had a rough night. She had an axle fire. You hauling too much milk, Robin? Hope everything got fixed all right.
Yeah.
An axle fire? That's pretty serious shit.
Yeah.
Well, it gets hot, and you've got grease and oil. You've got all the mixings there.
Wow. I've never heard of that. I have to watch out for that.
This is why you need
shit.
to borrow some of these books. The Holes in Evolution.
Don't read those
versus the
books.
Holes in
Bad.
Creation. Creationism through the ICR Institute, the Institute for Creation Research, won in the Supreme Court to be able to be teaching intelligent design in the public school system because...
What?
What?
No, they didn't.
They won what?
No, they didn't.
No, they
No, they didn't. They lost.
Well, they might have won to be able to teach it in biblical studies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
there's
not
some.
allowed to teach it as science, right?
No.
Yeah.
They
You
lost
send
that
your
game.
kids. Yeah.
Once again, they're
kind of crap they want.
Pastor Tom. We don't like to get personal here on Saturday Night at the Atheist, but
He's making me do it though, Dave.
you're making us want to do it.
Hold me back.
We're really questioning your integrity, and there's a word for somebody that is a very harsh word that spreads things that aren't true, right? And You're almost there. I think you've passed it, but yeah.
Has it something to do with pants that are on fire?
Yeah, flaming, big flames, big huge flames. Where's the?
Yeah.
We got it covered here. Hold on. Where is the? There we go. We'll put the flames up there for a minute.
Beautiful, beautiful.
We're in the pants on fire stage here.
There were less holes in creationism than there was in evolution.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
If you believe that, I will say, if you believe that, yes. Unfortunately, it doesn't line up with the scientists, and it doesn't line up with the majority of people who follow religions who also accept science, like evolution, without any problems. They still believe, they still love Jesus or Muhammad or whatever it is, and they go about their business.
Yeah, also, just to point this out, holes. He said there are lots of holes in the science. That's a highly technical term for which basically we don't understand what the usage is in this case. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, and God of the Gaps is weak. Of course, science doesn't know everything. That's, why we have scientists, and they learn new stuff all the time. And we all appreciate all the scientists in things like the technology we have, and HVAC, and food storage, and enough crops for everybody. All these things that, including Pastor Tom there, enjoy every day thanks to science. And he's not walking around grumbling saying, work, the electricity don't work because of science.
Yeah, if you want
more, a lot of those inventions, like refrigeration and stuff like that, were invented by women, just to piss off the Christian boys even more.
Yeah,
and there's been a lot of great women inventors and scientists as well. Yes, we appreciate them all.
And also, like, if you're saying, oh, there were holes in that theory back then, no God. Sorry, but if that ain't God of the Gaps.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah.
Holy fuck. If you cannot claim that is, yeah. Sorry, some people are just.
It's pretty easy to cover up the holes if you say magic happened, right? Then you only have one hole and you covered it up. So if magic, but a real theory, now the theory of evolution, if he means by holes that we don't know every exact mutation and step, there are a lot of holes in that. And that's because it's a real theory and it's not covered up with God did it. God did it. So let's go home. Like, fuck you. These people have no understanding of what science actually is. Just horrifying.
So they won in Supreme Court to be able to teach that, call it intelligent design, to teach creationism in schools, because they have less holes, or they've found no holes in the idea of creation, where there are thousands of holes in the idea of evolution.
Did this preacher preach like in 1965 or something?
Yeah, I don't know.
I cannot
like
place
after the monkey trial or whatever.
Yeah, there's all sorts. There was in the 1980s there was a Supreme Court decision.
This is 2 weeks ago.
In 2005, wasn't that the Dover? I don't know the exact year, but there was the Dover trial that basically ruled that intelligent design was religion, and you don't teach religion in the classroom.
This is 2 weeks ago. This isn't 20 years ago or 50 years ago. This is two weeks ago.
So when you think about our education system, that has removed God from our system and teaches a history of science based off of theory, by the way. It's called evolutionary theory.
Oh, to scraping the bottom of the barrel.
See, this is the bullcrap that is wrong with all these creationist organizations. They spew all their misinformation and lies out to preachers and parents and teachers who just kind of absorb this stuff uncritically, and then they just spew it out because I read this one time, so I'll say this in a sermon illustration. And most sermons, they don't have sources written down. They're not footnoted items. They're just what the preacher needs to preach on a Wednesday night or a Sunday night or a Sunday morning, and they just go on and say things that are wrong, giving people wrong impressions, and they just go on and out being wrong out in the world and cause problems when it comes time to fund science education and all sorts of other types of.
Yeah, if you Google this, it says just the exact opposite of what he just said. So he's lying through his teeth, or he has been really badly misinformed, because the Supreme Court found that you cannot teach religion in school. So anyway, I don't know why would he say that?
I don't know.
I'd love to see the audience here. There's probably one person sitting in the pew.
You gotta wonder, right? Yeah.
Not fact. Carl Sagan, some of you guys grew up listening to.
All right, now we already had Jacques Cousteau.
Again.
Now he's going to talk about Sagan. All right, here we go.
Yeah. Well, before he does, let me just say this. Carl Sagan, famously an agnostic. Okay? Famously.
The cosmos was always there, and is always and will ever be there. And he says basically the Big Bang happened 15 billion years ago. 10 billion years ago, the stars were formed. 5 billion years ago, the sun was formed. 4.5 billion years ago, the earth in its molten form was formed. And 3.8 billion years ago, water cooled the earth to give it and bring it to the place where it is today. Here's my question.
Water cooled the earth?
That's not how that happens.
That's not the earth cooled enough for there to be liquid water.
Who is there to write that down?
What? Yeah, who's there to write that down?
Oh, yeah. Well, there's at least a few people laughing there.
So we're implying a little. What's his name with the banana? Ray.
Comfort. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they all do it. They all do it. It's a common thing. Who was there to write it down? Only God was there to write it down.
Yeah, God didn't write.
Begging the question, was he there to see God create the universe?
Yeah.
No.
So who's the guy that does the little short videos? He's a Mormon, and Dan McClellan.
Brian Dalton? Dan McClellan,
no.
yeah, the scholar.
Yeah, okay. He said that nowhere in the Bible does it say that the Bible is the Word of God. I think that was one of his videos, and that's an interesting one to listen to. But apparently it doesn't say that in the Bible.
Not surprised.
Yeah, not surprised.
That's a problem. That's a big presupposition. That's a big thought.
This is what science does. And this is what science does. They seek out to learn these things. And as I pointed out earlier, originally they found out, looking at all these layers, there was all these different environments, all this deposition. It must have taken at least millions of years. And as they've learned more, they found out, well, no, it was more like 4.5 billion years. Okay. This is not presupposing how old it was. It is finding out to the best of their abilities how old these things are.
I think the word he's looking for is hypothesis, right?
Yeah.
Not presupposition.
Yeah.
Yeah, potentially.
And of course, he said it's just a theory too. And just to be clear, in case anybody doesn't know, a scientific theory, 2 words, scientific theory, has its own definition. It's not the same as just the word theory. All right.
Yeah. Also, there are no eyewitnesses to the resurrection.
No.
Yep.
There you go.
I have to say, wait a second. I'm going to go back here, and I have to presuppose all these things happened in that manner in order to justify the science today on what I believe and how I believe it got here.
And that's totally backwards, not how science works. You're describing your belief, not how science works. And once again, would be a good idea. And just to mention, once again, you can be a Christian or any other religion, and you can go out and do good science and find out, even without radiometric dating methods, that the Earth has to be very old because of all the different layers that are there.
Amongst other things.
So it'd be a good idea to go look at Joel Duff's channel. Joel Duff is a Christian, and in one of his latest videos, he explains his position. And he studies evolution, teaches evolution, and he fights against creationists. But he is a devout Christian, and he explains his thinking, and he explains why this guy is so full of shit when he's talking about Christianity. It is not necessary to deny science if you're a Christian.
And if you go up the big names like William Lane Craig, he never bucks up against science. He just fits his belief into, well, along, the way there must have been these first spiritual people or whatever, and that's where you get your Adam and Eve from or something like that. He doesn't say all the scientists don't know what they're talking about.
And it doesn't matter because the scientists themselves are not the people making shit up. They're just the ones interpreting the evidence. Once again, it's evidence-led, right? So it's not a presupposition in any sense of the word what the scientists are doing.
And they have
presuppositions, but they're not suppositions to do with the science.
And they will flip it around when it suits them, and they will say, look at all these great scientists that were believers, right? When they want to hold up, somebody that's a believer, then it's all good. But it doesn't matter if you believe or not. And sure, there's been a lot of believers that great scientists, they'll often bring up a lot of the people on the Nobel Prize list have been believers. That's all fine. But what they aren't proving their supernatural claims. They're doing things natural methods in a laboratory like everybody else does around the world. And when those things all match, then it's accepted science. And evolution is not only just biology, but it's corroborated by things like geology and other fields that make the theory even stronger.
Yeah. Hence that's what Carl Sagan was talking about. Cosmology is a different subject yet again, and doesn't just involve guessing or presupposing that everything's really old. No. There is, it's based upon physics, and physics has, predictions which it makes due to the demonstratable and measurable properties that we find of the particles around us and the standard model in general. That's nothing to do with theory. That's not even called a theory. That's just called the interpretation of the evidence, right? Demonstrable evidence. So
on that Joel Duff, go ahead.
So go ahead, mate.
On that Joel Duff thing, he did like a 6-part series on the Dead Sea, and he explained why young Earth creationism absolutely fails, and there's no way that geology could have happened with any kind of flood. And he spends a great deal of time. It's like 6-part series, and the last part is where he reconciles scriptures with old Earth, basically. And it's really kind of interesting to listen to a devout Christian who kind of has things figured out and doesn't deny any science at all. He does not deny science. Anyway, Dr. Joel Duff is a really great channel, by the way. And
we are fans
atheist.
Of Joel Duff, indeed.
Yep.
My favorite when he was pointing out that Ken Ham's Ark Park is built on top of a hill filled with fossils. And instead of cutting a little channel out, right, where you could actually just like walk right through and see it all, he buys fossils by the gross from somebody and sells them.
Yeah.
When he's literally on a mountain of fossils. But he doesn't really want people to see those fossils underneath him.
Right.
Yeah.
So our kids can download all the cool little digital photos from the evolution of the Earth and space, because they got tons of cool little digital photos you can download of how the Earth was formed and it was created out of nothing. And that's really their conundrum, the Big Bang. Here's what science.
Wow, we went.
Not really.
You got all these cool pictures, and look at the cool pictures, and then you got the Big Bang, and okay, wow.
Well, no, he goes from talking about how the Earth was formed, right, and that's really the conundrum, the Big Bang. Big Bang's nothing to do with how the Earth is formed. I mean, there is a connection, obviously, but like they're completely different things.
And I can't get
as Carl Sagan said, one's 5 billion years ago, and one's 15, approximately, give or take a few billion.
And I can't get a straight answer from the creationists. You have the camp that says there's no Big Bang, and then you have the camp that says the Big Bang proves in the beginning. So they can't come together on that. And he's obviously in the no Big Bang, but I've heard plenty of others that say they embrace the Big Bang because it used to be like a steady state or whatever idea of the universe. And the Big Bang is more, see, this proves the Bible of in the beginning. So I'm very confused on why they haven't come together on something like this. I mean, you think it's a major point, right?
Yeah.
It turns out it's not. The Big Bang is not the beginning. I mean, that's the point, really. And in fact, if people knew what the cause, right, of the singularity was, then they might have an idea about whether there is a beginning in time or not. But let's just say that there is a beginning of time. That doesn't mean, right? That certainly doesn't mean that this universe isn't caused from some other particular state, right? So we still don't know whether that's the case or not. Just because our time within the universe has a beginning doesn't mean that is a universal, that is a multiversal thing, or that there's some state which existed before our time. And that doesn't follow. So,
when you're talking about the Big Bang, you have to keep reminding yourself that the word beginning has no meaning when you're talking about the Big Bang. When you're talking about the entirety of space and time, beginning has no meaning. And that seems paradoxical, kind of, but that is the problem with these people like the average man trying to understand cosmology, is that there is no beginning.
Yeah, and like I heard a good kind of, I had a good explanation exactly, but someone made a good point. For us, like space is space-time. I mean, it's 4-dimensional universe that we live in, and the singularity, by definition, has no space, and which means it has no time.
Yeah.
Right. So we don't know. I mean, we just simply do not know whether something.
Yeah, you can't even think about it. You can't even talk about it in our language, basically, because we are.
We don't know whether there was something. There was a pre-existing anything. I mean, pre-existing has a time component, so like that, it doesn't make any sense to talk about it.
Yep.
You can really get your mind blown.
Yeah,
and I wanted to say, we've had a lot of folks watching tonight. Thanks everybody for watching. Lots of viewers here tonight. Lots of folks stopping by, and I just wanted to mention real quick while you're here, hit that subscribe button with a bell so you don't miss when we're on. And I'm having some problems in the description. I usually have everybody's links all in there and ready to go and everything. My apologies. I'm not sure what's going on. I'll look at it after the stream and figure it out. But make sure you go to Answers in Atheism,
where some of the descriptions actually work.
Easy to find. Yeah, I don't know what I don't know what's going on. It's weird. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, so there's another a little one here. Atheists replace the name of God with a singularity. That's fine. Yeah. If you want to think of God as a singularity, I think you'd be one step closer to atheism for sure.
Right. Then you agree with me,
Yeah. And that's fine, right? Pantheists believe something similar as well, I believe. So congratulations. You are an atheist if you think God is a singularity. I don't call the singularity God because I don't think God is a useful term.
And also, you go shorthand. Just like the names on the screen. There you go to Simos Funk. That's Simos channel. And Brainless is the one there. Brainless is often on Slim Cyborg's channel. So again, Slim Cyborg, look it up. Again, I'll fix the links. I don't know what's going on. But make sure you go to Slim Cyborg and subscribe. Subscribe at Simos. We also had Bree stop by and Leo Filius. Make sure you stop by their channels as well. And I'll fix links in the description. I think most of them work. Bree also has merch going on, and I got a link there. And Joe at the Kentucky Atheist also has links for merch and an affiliate he's with. There's a discount code in the description down there. That stuff should work. The other channel links I'll fix later. I'm sorry, I don't know what was going on with them. But yeah, subscribe to everybody, and thank you for all the subscribers. Getting closer to 500 subscribers, so looking forward to getting some Bigfoot emojis. If you're not subscribed, if you know somebody that's not subscribed, have them come over here and subscribe. I appreciate it.
Can't deal with the question when you say, how did the Big Bang start? The Bible says God spoke it into existence.
Well, there you go.
I don't think it does say that. I'm pretty sure the Big Bang is not mentioned in the Bible.
No. Well, this is Frank Turek. You know, that's again.
Yeah. Frank Turek, yeah.
Yeah, are you accepting the Big Bang or not, right? Because he just kind of was leaning, well, the Big Bang is nonsense, but now he's saying, well, ask him what caused the Big Bang. And it's like, oh, no, wait a minute. Is there, where are you at? You totally lost me on if you accept the Big Bang theory or not. Well, of course he doesn't because it's a theory, right? So, okay.
Bang.
Yeah, before you go, atheism doesn't say anything about morality at all. It's just a question of whether God exists. It's just an answer to whether you think God exists or not. And no, you believe in Jesus Christ as a personal being. Well, then what does it matter whether other people call something else God? Who cares, right? If you believe that if Jesus Christ is your personal God, then it doesn't matter what other people think, whether they're pantheists or deists or whatever. They disagree with you. So they may as well be atheists. Atheist doesn't say anything about.
We got some questions in the chat, and just to be clear, and we try to clarify this every week, and in case I missed it, I might have, but an atheist doesn't believe in God. Check out some of the videos on my channel. Check out the videos on a lot of other folks' channels. Check out Deconverted Man's video. An atheist doesn't believe in God. That's it. Anything else can be anything else. Okay? So that's it. Now, what was it? Morality. Atheists have opinions about morality. Jesus. Atheists have opinions about Jesus. They just don't believe in God. Okay? So that's it.
I'm out of here. I'm falling asleep. But,
and it's late for Brainless.
Yeah. And I'm on call tomorrow, so I do need to get some sleep.
All right. Thanks for joining us, Brainless.
Yeah. And good night, Gio. I forgot to say hi to you.
Thanks, Brandon.
Good night. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. Yeah, we get, what is it? We got about a half hour yet.
And there has been more conversions to Christianity through astrophysicists and science in biology than any other science because of the data they're saying this can't just happen.
Okay. If you could stop that. Yeah. Okay, so that's just totally false. I mean, it's just not true. Actually, if you look at the data, you'll find that there are more believers in mathematics than there are in any of the hard sciences. So, it's just not true. You get in philosophy, it's a ridiculous number of atheists as well. So actually, the more time goes on, the more sciences that come into existence, the more people become atheistic. and that will continue to be the case. I think Steve Weinberg said something along these lines, but it will be the case that science erodes people's faith and belief in God, because the two are diametrically opposed. And it just takes time, that's all. It will happen even in a country like America eventually, because people have to turn to science because it's what provides answers. When you go to the doctors and you want medicine, it's science that provides that medicine that you have to take in order to prolong your life and keep you healthy. When you go to, when you drive a motor car, it's science that is the driving force for improving motor cars or bridges or roads or computers or any number of things. And that's what people rely on in life. They don't rely on religion and faith to try and get them through the day. They rely on science. So it's just a matter of time, as far as I can see, which is a really good thing. It's happened in Europe, obviously, and certainly in Northern Europe, where the scientific revolution really caught first. Not first, but caught big time. And obviously, as a result, it's just a matter of catching up, as far as I can see. And certainly in America, it's got to be that way, because if America wants to stay competitive and strong financially, then of course it's going to have to rely on scientific invention.
And Australia is very secular. And in fact, the few creationists they had over there, they shipped them over here.
Oh yeah, not strictly true, but there are problems over there.
There's a lot of Aussie accents that work in the creationists organizations. If you haven't noticed, it's I joke that the Aborigine laugh them out of country. But according to Mark Reed, he said they're not going to take them back, so we're stuck with them over here. So
man's body is so complex, the world is so complex, it just couldn't happen. There had to be an intelligent designer behind it.
Yeah, and that's weak. That's again, that's not good science. That's, I just can't figure this out. I'm going to throw my hands in the air and just say it's God. And the scientists that work for Ken Ham may do that, but fortunately the rest of them don't, because all the things Simos just talked about, if they would have just thrown their hands in the air and said, oh, well, we wouldn't have any of these things.
So they teach our kids that eventually water cooled the earth, life formed. Nobody can explain.
Water didn't cool the earth. Stop saying that. If you put water on a molten earth, there's no more water. Okay, it doesn't work that way.
It can explain how life formed, just that it did. Primordial ooze struck by lightning, whatever you want to say, that little cell developed into a little thing that breathed water.
Developed into a little thing that breathed water.
Yeah. I think we need Toaster Guy, because he makes more sense.
Yeah, he did, yeah. In an odd way.
Yeah.
Developed somehow into something that could breathe air.
Somehow.
And came out of there. Here's the problem. Who and what did that mate with? Oh, don't ask that question. It was asexual. That's the answer. It developed itself. Okay.
Here we go again with there was this one cell that developed into one other thing, and then there was one other thing, and this is leaning towards the Hawaiian shirt guy. He uses this argument. Well, what did the first one have sex with and reproduce, right? And it's like, well, there wasn't just one. There was lots of them. So this is just silly. I mean, come on.
Okay.
Yeah, this is completely ridiculous. Like, as if like by what do they call it? Mike, help me out here. When there are two things that are needed to make a baby, what do you call that?
Two things, sex. I don't know.
But what's the species? The type of species that use sex to reproduce? What are they called?
I can't.
By something.
I'm not sure. I can't. It's not coming to mind right now. I'm trying to order I'm trying to order Kentucky Fried Chicken. Give me a break.
I beg your pardon. All right. There are species on this planet that need to have a male and a female, right?
Yeah.
And he thinks that everything needs to have a male and a female. That's not true. That's not how chemicals reproduce.
Oh, did I miss that part? He's the one that said something about bacteria had to have a male and a female or something.
He said one cell turned into something else that turned into something that breathed water, that turned into something that could breathe air.
Yeah.
And who did it mate with? And it's like, yeah, this is Hawaiian shirt guy stuff where there's just only one thing walking around, and he uses pink and blue. If there was a blue one, where's the pink one, right?
Yeah, that was one of the top 3 dumbest things he said in this video. And unfortunately, I was trying to order chicken. So
gotta get that chicken.
Yeah,
gotta get that chicken.
And once again, a lot of these things are ridiculous, and a lot of these things we have heard before. But the point being is, this video was just put out. Okay, they're repeating this stuff to people, and unfortunately, there's often children there too. And as the flames are indicating here, we're calling pants on fire, as Brainless said there before he took off. And I mean, if you have such great arguments for your religion, if you have such great arguments for how great heaven is going to be and all that, fibbing about science seems to be that you're exposing your weak flank, right?
So, basically, I'm saying that cells don't need another cell to mate with to get a third cell. That's not how that works, all right? And he's completely unaware.
Is it diploid or something you're talking about?
Yeah, maybe.
Probably diploid.
Dimorphic or something. I can't remember. Anyway, it's not a matter. It doesn't matter. Also, there's one here. Did you know that us witches see atheism as a cult religion? Congratulations, witches. Well done. And with dogma, just as thick as any other cult religion. I'm pretty sure you're using a very specific definition of religion there. Certainly not the one to do with cults or to do with magic or the supernatural. Have you ever questioned atheism? Yes, of course I have.
That's kind of the idea.
Yeah. You're speaking nonsense. Anyway, there you go.
But yeah, once again, though, if you're going to try to pile a lot of things on atheism, they don't belong there. It's just, we aren't convinced. And I often say that, it's kind of the fault of the theists that they haven't provided convincing argument, because often it's said that it's so apparent you must be blind and purposely not seeing it and all of these things. And okay, or God's hardening my heart or something. Okay. But again, if you're going to point to verses that say I'm going to hell because I don't see invisible things, I'm going to say that sounds a little silly. That's it. And if there is a divine judgment someday that we all have to face, I don't think I'm all that bad of a person, okay? If it's held against me that I don't believe in a magic zoo boat, then I don't really think there's anything I can do about it, because I just don't see myself ever coming to terms with believing in a lot of mythology as being actual history. And that's the big problem. It's not just trying to give a God argument. You've got religious texts, and not picking on any one religion. It's across the spectrum. You want to try to give this fancy philosophical whatever argument for God, but then you also have a story full of mythology, obvious mythology, not real, fiction, okay, that is trying to back up your original God story. You know what I mean? And it kind of falls apart, like when we talk about Jim Bob. He's trying to throw out these fancy philosophical arguments, and he says, and I believe in the magic zoo boat. And it's like, well, right there, I'm just not going to take it serious. It doesn't matter what your argument is or your threats of hell are. I'm just not going to take any of it seriously.
Cool. How did the transition happen between water and breath?
What?
We know that.
Yeah, we know that one. Yeah.
Mike, we were just talking about it recently, that it's from the swim bladder that was already used to hold air in it. And it was probably somehow diffusing into the system, and it was advantageous, and that was selected for. And then it got better developed into what we call a lung. There you go.
Yep.
But you don't like that answer. But there is an answer. He's trying to point out that they don't know. They don't know. It's like, I know. So, I mean, if I know, I'm pretty sure some people that work in the field know, right?
Yeah, and if you have these, there are a couple of questions coming in here. Why did evolution decide to push past? Well, evolution didn't decide to. That's a misnomer. But you just try Googling it. You will get some idea of the processes which led to it happening. So there you go. People have investigated that. People do understand why single-cell organisms have a tendency to do the things they do, and which type of environments are required in order to push them towards a particular kind of way of developing. So there you go. Or Austin will answer it, even better. And then Celtic says, how do you know it's a fiction? I don't know what you mean fiction, or what you're referring to exactly, but obviously I've questioned God. I think it's a fiction the same way I know all the other stuff that I know, right, is because there's no evidence, right?
Yeah.
The evidence is extremely thin. And whatever evidence that has been presented to me is laughably bad, right?
If you have a story with talking animals and talking plants and all kind of magical activities going on that defy all the known laws and that don't seem to happen in our reality, only in these stories, then I tend to call it fiction, and so do most people, all right? That's kind of what the definition of fiction is, things that don't happen, right? Except in a book.
I just want to address, he highlighted no in capitals, right? Like no is some kind of magic word for them. Knowledge, right? That's just an epistemological state, all right? It's just a state. So what I call knowledge is just having enough evidence to push it over a threshold where I'll go from saying I strongly believe to I know.
Yeah.
And all I mean by knowledge is I very strongly believe something to be true because there is a lot of supporting evidence which has been corroborated.
And I've participated in a video along with a lot of other people, and I've made my own videos, and a lot of us are addressing this. We do not believe that nothing created everything. So stop making that leap, please. Nothing is incoherent. What is from nothing is ex nihilo. That's nothing to do with atheism.
Hang on. So let me just finish up on no a second, right? So yeah, I think some people, some of us, not all, but some, are saying that they know something. And when we say we know something, we don't mean it in this kind of biblical sense of what God knows, because there's no such thing as God. What we mean it is in a human sense, whereas there is enough evidence to show, and enough reasoning that goes into interpreting the evidence to show that should be very strongly believed to be true. That's all we mean, and that's not it's not an unusual claim, right? I know that 2 and 2 is 4. How do I know that? It's definitional. There's reason that goes into me saying that. The sun's going to come up tomorrow. How do I know that? Because there's been a lot of data developed about how the universe, or how the solar system works, and it will be certain that very large forces are required to stop that happening, the type of which are not going to just turn up any say soon. So that's why we know that the sun will come up tomorrow. A lot of evidence for it. Go ahead.
There's this whole thing about how organs developed, like lungs, how we went from fish to land-breathing animals. it isn't something that we just guessed or we just presupposed or we believe. There are hundreds and maybe thousands of papers out there on the details of how that could have happened. And nowhere in this process have we ever found that it couldn't happen, basically. But every step of the way requires knowing a great deal about biology, embryology, molecular biology, and a number of other things. And your average man on the street is either going to have to trust the professionals, basically, or wander around in doubt forever. But it takes a lot of work, and it's something that I have looked into very deeply. Basically, how organs develop, like livers and kidneys and lungs and brains and all of that. And I'm telling you, it's a never-ending digging process where you get into this, right? And so far, I have not seen anything that makes it implausible. All I've seen is plausibility all the way down. But do I know exactly how it happened? No one does. That's historical, right? We're not gonna get that. What we can get is a viable mechanism that we can test and explain today, and then we infer what happened in the past, but we can never be sure what happened in the past. Does that make sense? I mean, like the average person shouldn't just accept evolution. You should actually look into it a little bit, but the average person is not going to do what I do every morning. That's dig through how cells stick to each other is what I was doing this morning, and what the extracellular matrix is. The average person isn't going to do that. So where are we? I mean, as far as believing evolution, it's I don't know, guys.
Read Darwin first. Read Darwin. If you think you doubt evolution, read Darwin. That's 150 or nearly 200 years old. 150 years old. Read Darwin. He himself did experiments in his garden to show the validity of his theory, right? Yeah. And you can do that too. You can go into your garden, you can start breeding plants together to select for the type of plant you want. You could do that. So if you want to spend 20 years like Darwin did, go ahead, knock yourself out. You will find that it's true. People have repeated his experiments and have concluded that that's correct. That's the first thing. And then second thing, intelligent minds were required to produce results. Okay. Well, that is an argument from ignorance, of course, when it comes to creation. So, I don't know what else to say. You're claiming that nothing would exist, or only earth and water mixed maybe would exist if there were no minds to separate them. Maybe that's your claim. I don't know. But if that's the case, go and prove that when you mix earth and water, the only way to separate them is by a mind, because I don't think you can do that. I think you'll find other ways of separating them, quite natural ways to do that. So,
and once again, creationists love to pull up scientific scientist names that made great scientific discoveries, and saying, see, this shows that you believe in God, you can do good science or something like this. But it's ultimately they're doing good science, all right, while they have their belief. So this idea that there's something wrong with learning about biology or where life came from or something, it just seems really silly. Okay. For me, it's just you're just learning biology, and it would be like dismissing any other subject of science and saying, no, you're not going to teach chemistry anymore because I don't like it. Right. Well, it doesn't matter if you don't like it, and the idea that it's somehow anti-God or anything else, there's nothing anti-God in it. And as we've pointed out, you have plenty of religious people that accept evolution. It's the majority of religious people around the world accept well-established science like evolution. And as Simos and I were just talking about a couple minutes ago, everybody embraces science for all the great things it does. And nobody's walking around trying to get rid of electronics or something because it's not in the Bible or something. these arguments ultimately come down to they just want to set themselves up as a special creation. Okay, set yourself up as a special creation. You have this, the soul or the spirit or whatever this supernatural thing is in you. But ultimately, you as a believer, though, can still be described naturally and with biology, physiology, all these different things, down to the chemistry and the physics. Your soul, spirit part or whatever has nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with science. And you can accept all the biological findings and have a belief or not have a belief. It doesn't change the biology. So,
Yeah, no, atheism is a faith, that old conundrum.
Atheism is a faith?
It's all faith, yeah. But anyway, atheism has very little to do with faith. It's a lack of belief in the sense that certainly Dave uses it. And therefore, it's by definition not a faith. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Like, I mean, the guy's asking some good questions. So, and I've been reading through the answers that Austin's been given, and I'm learning a little bit myself. So, thank you for asking the questions. As for Celtic spirits, I have no idea what you're talking about anymore. Sorry. Theists are against science. Stop insulting people. Theists, not all theists are against science. Most theists are not against science. In fact, we are specifically talking about creationists here when we're talking about those.
And I just specifically said most religious people, even Islam, which has a lot of repressive educational systems in some of the countries, are still over 50%. So it's a majority either way across all religions, even ones, and it might not be the fault of the government. There's, areas they're just poor, they don't have good education, whatever. Doesn't matter. It still comes out a majority of religions. So the idea that it's a religion against science only on certain things they don't like evolution, is ridiculous. It doesn't add up.
Okay, so yes, I can, even if I accept under some definitions of faith, we all have faith. The point I'm making is that isn't atheism. Atheism has nothing to do with my world views on what life is. And yes, I have some presuppositions. Yes, I have faith, if you want to call it faith. I don't like it, the word myself, because of the misconceptions that it has. Certainly to do with ideas of believing in God, which I just think are ridiculous. So I don't use them for those. But I certainly have some presuppositions. And I certainly take those to be or not to have justifications. They are brute facts. So that's fine. Let me just finish there. That's fine. But that's nothing to do with atheism. Atheism is not the positive belief as used by these guys. That's maybe something to do. That's something slightly stronger, which I think is justified. Anyway, go ahead, Mike.
In Laudatus Profita, basically, the word faith, there's nothing wrong with faith, because ultimately the kind of animal that we are, epistemically, we have to have faith in a lot of things. I have faith that when I move my mouse, it's going to move, it's going to move the pointer on the screen. I mean, we can't figure everything out right to the minutia. And that's the same with believing, with the layman believing in evolution. You're not going to be able to figure it all out, or I'm not going to be able to tell you the whole damn story in a half an hour or an hour or days or even weeks. I mean, so faith is a very big part of the way our brain works. So what? And atheism, like you were saying, Simos, is basically I'm an atheist when I'm around somebody else who has a particular God belief. But that has nothing to do with evolution. I'm a naturalist along with an atheist, and that has to do with evolution. But atheism does not. Does that make sense? Oh, by the way, I'm watching a little car drive toward my house with my KFC. It's supposed to arrive at 7:10. So anyway, just want to let you know.
And once again, this nothing created everything is not what atheists say. So
nothing created my chicken.
Okay, let me just add this then. let me just say, Celtic says he's not been convinced that atheism is true. There just isn't any evidence for it. Okay, like as they're saying, it's by definition there is no evidence, right? And that's what makes Dave's definition of atheism to be taken on as a label which you might wish to accept. I'm slightly stronger than that, and I think there is some evidence that says that the gods which we see, standard gods, talk about standard gods and their properties, can be shown to be either contradictory in some extremes, or less likely by far than no God existing. And therefore, atheism can be believed to be the position that belief in no gods is true. Can be taken on. But more than that, but even more than that, I'm afraid to say, is the proposition that you're confusing, Coven, atheism with naturalism, right? Because there is some justification as to why naturalism is likely a better worldview than involving something which is supernatural. There's a lot of evidence that things that are natural claims, as we say them, have evidence for them. And so if we don't find that same kind of evidence for supernatural claims, then we shouldn't believe that supernatural claims are true, right? I myself do not believe in Santa Claus or tooth fairies or leprechauns or any number of supernatural claims. And the reason I don't believe them is because there just is no evidence for them. And until there is evidence, I don't see a reason to believe that they are true. And that was first put forward by someone called George Berkeley, who was a bishop, who said that it's if there is no reason to believe something to be true, that's a reason for it to be true, to be believed false. And that's the position that I take in general.
But think about it, what they're asking of evolution when this guy is going on about, how did they get out of water and start breathing? What they're asking us to do is to abandon the humanness of knowing things, understanding things, and they're asking us to abandon faith. And they want us to observe every single molecule move into place. They want us to give them absolute perfection, right? And so they're asking us in a way to abandon the faith that all humans necessarily must have in order to know anything at all.
And a lot of folks like Mary Schweitzer and stuff, they see more of a wonder of God when they do their science, right? And that's fine. You feel an awe from making a new discovery or something, and you attribute it to the feeling you have, and it's God or whatever. That's fine. But she's still doing good science, see? So it doesn't matter that she's a believer. And a lot of creationists don't like her. And speaking of, this guy is just about to mention her. So
and the alternative to belief in evolution is to have some belief that there's some great conspiracy, that there's a bunch of atheists sitting around going, I just want to sin, so I'm gonna tell all these lies. It's like, no, that's not science. I mean, read just one damn paper on molecular biology and listen to what those people do in the lab in order to figure out all of these steps. And you're going to understand that there's no conspiracy.
And I say, okay, you tell me you can fly. And I say, wow, because we were just speaking about it recently. I think it would be really neat to be able to fly. And you say, well, I can't actually show you I can fly. You just have to believe I can fly. And I think almost everybody that would reasonably question this claim that you can do something that you cannot demonstrate is not true. And that's just the way I look at religion. You're making a claim that you cannot demonstrate. You may believe it. You may believe it deeply. You may actually believe that you can fly, but you can only do it when nobody else is around to see it. Okay, that's not going to convince me. You see, I cannot see you fly. Nobody can see you fly. The radar can't pick you up when you're flying. There's no way to demonstrate that you can fly. Then I am, as a skeptic, going to say that's very skeptical. Now, it's not discounting at the same time people have beliefs, deeply held religious beliefs. People have beliefs in all kinds of powers, in crystals and pyramids and all these things, but it's not demonstrable. If you hang around by a pyramid, or if you don't hang around by a pyramid, you might catch a cold. It has nothing to do with whether you were hanging around the pyramid or not. So you have to have something demonstrable, right? That, look, everybody that hangs around a pyramid never has the sniffles, then I would say, that's worth investigating. But when you're just making claims you can't demonstrate, and Michael and I both like to say, you got a citation for that? That's what we're asking for, is something demonstrable. Are you tracking them, Mike?
Yeah. Do you see my little car? It's about to cross the Minnesota River, and that's going to be really exciting because I live right on the other side of it. So, anyway.
Okay. So that was the other little thing. I mean, I think we should probably end here, Dave, for this video myself, if Mike's going to go, because I'm getting very tired myself. But that's just to give you a heads up to think about it while I say the next bit, which is there's an interesting point, which I find interesting anyway. Other people probably don't, which is to say this. It's believed that or one of the points made forward is, look, you look around, it's an ordered universe, right? Surely that is some kind of evidence for God. But even if it wasn't an ordered universe, right? If the universe was long enough, there would be periods where it looked ordered. So just saying that there's order in our particular part of the universe at this particular time, this 15 billion years or so, is not an argument that the universe is not random, right? The universe could be random, and we could just be living in a time where all things naturally or just happen to follow each other in a cause and effect way. Right? Now that's possible if the universe, if the life of the universe was long enough. So just to say this, that just because something looks ordered doesn't mean it is. Just because something looks random doesn't mean it is. Those two things are not the antithesis of each other. So when you say it's ordered, how can the universe be random? It looks ordered. It could look ordered and it could still be random. That's perfectly logically possible. So just to point that out from a mathematical point of view.
I just want to hit this one thing real quick here.
Lungs before and this.
And we'll wrap it up. Let me find it here.
This says God created only by a few years, or some cases by months, and those are ignored. Now, some of you are sitting there going like this in your seat. Oh, this guy's fixing to open a can of worms. There ain't no way these humans lived during this dinosaur times.
Well, there you go, Geo
saying. Like an anomaly, and you
there's your Flintstones
a lot of
moment.
Conundrums here.
Yep.
Yabba-dabba-doo.
Footprints. Stepping into dinosaur footprints where the footprints are
the footprints and the dinosaur footprints.
I think you
should
save
that. Found that.
I really do. I think you should save that for the next bit, because there's quite a lot of this next section, isn't there?
God, it's the same shit over and over again. The same crap rehashed. That their library, they have an archive, on these creation sites, and they keep going over this same crap over and over again, and people keep refuting it thousands of times. And they keep going over it.
This has a part. This has a part 2 too. So we'll come back to it. And we'll take another look at it. I was just I wanted to find. I thought it was next here, but it must be a little farther. He also brings up Mary Schweitzer and that they're finding meat on the bone.
Of course he does.
So
meat on the bone.
Meat on the bone.
That's a whole thing that needs some explain. Joel Duff does a really good job of that in one of his recent videos too. He explains that no, it's not meat on the bone. That's not what
we'll come back to Tom another time and
right. Joel Duff also come up with a paper in 1968 where they said they found collagen in dinosaur fossils from 1968. Wow. That's how long science has known about this collagen in dinosaur fossils. So, I mean, it's no big secret that, this shit is happening.
well, that's what he's going to bring up is that, well, they keep finding it in different fossils and everything. And
right.
Either ICR or CMI or both of them, I think, were all big on that they said the more they're looking, the more they're finding these things. And that was part of the thing that Mary Schweitzer was talking about when she made this discovery, is that they can make more of these discoveries because they now know where to look, what to look for, how to test for it, etc.
Hey,
right?
I'll be right back. I think it's arrived. Hang on.
Okay. And that the people are missing the point that her discovery opens up a whole new, areas of learning all these things and making all these discoveries and learning more about the dinosaurs and everything. And it's all being missed because these creationists just keep bringing up they found meat on the bone when they didn't do that. Go ahead, Simos.
Yeah, there's two things I want to say roughly to chat. So firstly, that the idea is that even in a random sequence of events, if that random sequence goes on long enough, there will be a period of it where the some events follow each other as if they're not random. That's what that means to be random. So that's a possibility. And if you give an infinity or a universe which is near infinitely long, then of course there'll be long periods of times where events follow each other in a cause-like way, cause and effect-like way. And we could just be in that one of those periods. That's possible. Unlikely, admittedly, right? Statistically unlikely, but still possible. And because it's possible, that means that it doesn't follow that because something doesn't follow that something is either ordered or it's random, right? They could be both, right? So that's the point. It's logically follows that things could be random and yet have periods of order within them. And that's all I mean by that. And then the other thing I wanted to say was to the other guy who I've had an interesting conversation with, or at least it's thought-provoking. So it's a subjective opinion that God doesn't exist based upon what one has experienced. Obviously, yes, that's how we gain knowledge, is through experience. We have to take things in through our senses. And that's the idea of empiricism, which I rely on to understand how the universe works. Subjective in that case, it's not exactly the word to use there because that has philosophical meanings which are not exactly the same. So if you mean it's done by my mind, guess what? You're listening to my mind talking now. That's what we do as humans. And that's what these podcasts are about. Guess what? I'm reading your mind now. If you're saying that God is subjective, fine. Then I would completely use that same subjectiveness to understand the universe about us. But I would not say that everything that I know or understand to know is subjective. That's a separate category in philosophy, which has to be, which is more nuanced than you're trying to make it there. But yes, I'm also an empiricist as well. So I believe that knowledge comes through the senses. Not strictly just the knowledge. I'm a little more than an old style.
Yeah, I'm a pretty soft empiricist.
But I am an empiricist. I believe that it comes through reason as well as the senses, or information comes in through the senses. Then we use reason to understand how the world works.
Yep.
That's what I mean by empiricism.
And we've got this great comment here that who thought the mighty reign of the dinosaurs would have ended up in a bucket of KFC?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in some sense, that is evidence for God. We'll leave it on that. That is some kind of evidence for God. But is it evidence for God, or is it evidence for the secret, like powder stuff they use? What do they call that stuff?
The special 17
herbs
special...
herbs and spices. Yeah.
So is Colonel Sanders God? Don't know. Maybe he is.
To Mike it is. Look how happy he is.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy.
I haven't seen him that happy in a while.
Yeah. I've heard they started doing ribs again. Is that right?
Oh yeah.
Is that right? They've started doing ribs again.
I don't know. I never get past the fried chicken. So
okay.
And the biscuits, they got great biscuits.
Yeah, I needed this. This is my antidote for what happened yesterday in the at the White House. So
yeah,
I'm
that
gonna
was
stuff myself with chicken. And the reason I'm gonna stuff myself with chicken is I'm trying to have a heart attack so I don't get cancer, and so I don't have to see what's gonna happen. So I'm just gonna eat chicken.
Okay, I just want to say, sorry, I want to say thank you very much to Dave, to Mike, as always. That's been really fun tonight. Also, I want to say a special thanks to the chat. There's been a few people in the chat which have really made this stream for me. Thank you to, I can't even, the Profeta guy, I really enjoyed that. And also thanks to our witch friend, who I'm just looking up for the actual name, Celtic witch friend, Celtic Experience Coven. Thank you very much as well.
Yeah, I appreciate the Enlatadas Profeta guy because he was pretty, or they were pretty reasonable. So anyway.
And everybody out there, you know, if you enjoyed chatting with us, we're here almost every Saturday. At least I'm usually here every Saturday. And folks joining me here are here almost every Saturday. So don't forget to subscribe with a bell. And again, I'll have to fix the links in the description, but I'll fix them later. I don't know what's going on, but everybody's links should be in the description below, including Joe at the Kentucky Atheist for the ARC protest coming up this summer. Joe also has merch. Joe's affiliated with a smoke shop. You can get yourself some gear there and get a discount. The code is below. Bree has merch over there. If you're into Bigfoots like I am and wearing your Bigfoot shirts, turning the wrong way. There we go. You want some Bigfoot gear, Jersey Devil, Mothman, Bree's got gear over there. Make sure you go over there and get yourself a shirt or a beanie, whatever you want. Support Bree over at Hiveside, link in the description. And
Dave, we have almost 1,000 chats between our two channels.
1,000 chats. Wow, that's awesome. Thanks everyone. I hope y'all had a great evening joining us. That's what it's all about. You know, beginning of the show, we had a couple of folks up that didn't seem to want to chat and just were trolling us a little bit, but you know what? It doesn't bother us. So, you know, don't waste your time. We're not going to get riled up or anything. And, we've got a lot of folks with wrenches here, and they're here to have a good time too. So, and everybody else, hey, there was no problems, was there? We had great conversations with folks in the chat, and, that's what it's all about. That's what we really like here. We can disagree. There's no problem. People disagree. Okay. And if you got questions and stuff like that, we try to answer best we can. And other than that, we appreciate everybody coming through. We had a lot of folks coming through tonight, and a lot of new names and stuff. So welcome everybody. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
Yeah, Professor, if you come back next week, we can talk about morality if that's what you wish to do as well. It's been a pleasure to speak to you. Also, I just want to say to Mike, I really hope you enjoy your fritacious period.
Oh yes. My
fritacious,
right?
Yeah. I hope that really works for you. And let's not forget the entertainment.
And don't forget. Make sure you drop over at Answers in Atheism if you aren't already over there. Some of you might be over there. If you are over there,
give me a sub.
Make sure you give him a sub. And if you're over there, you can come over here and drop me a sub too. I appreciate it. And go to Simos Funk and subscribe over there too. I see Simos was gaming the other day. What were you playing, Simos? Some kind of shooter game?
Yeah, I was playing Hell Let Loose.
Okay.
So that was good. If you go to my channel, Profeta, you'll find the link down below. I did if you go to the playlists, you'll see some Sean Connery stuff. Go into there and you will find some atheist explanations of morality. I think I did a couple of hangouts where a group of atheists just talked about morality, more or less the same. I think use of reason is one of them, which is the very last one. There's a little bit of talk about morality there.
If any of the links aren't working, I'll take a look at it when the stream ended. I had some problems with some of the links not working. I'll soon as we get done here, I'll check that out and get the links to down there. But
my cat
usually I'm on it.
KFC.
Sometimes these things happen. I don't know. Stuff doesn't work. That's just how things go. I'll take care of it after the stream. I'll try to get everybody's links fixed. So if it's not working for you down there, again, just go to Simos Funk. Type it in. You'll find him. No problem.
Yeah, as Geo's put the link in, so you can just copy that paste that into your thing.
There you go. Right. Thank you.
My cat is about to grab my KFC.
Oh my God! The cats beat you to it.
Can a sociopath attend the morality stream asking for a friend? Absolutely.
Leave that chicken alone.
All right. Thanks, gentlemen, for joining as always, and thanks everybody else. So Scott was here, and Bree stopped in. Always a pleasure to see Bree. And yes, Bree is always welcome here on the channel. And if you don't like it, you don't have to be here. Okay. And Leo was here too. It's always good to see Leo. And yeah, like I said to any of the folks, if you got some free time or we are having a topic, you want to join in, just give me a holler in the chat or on Discord. I'm Captive Desk on Discord too. Give me a holler and I'll give you a link, just like I do with Simos and the other folks. And we'll get you a link. You can come on. We enjoy having folks on and a different mix of folks. That's always, it's a good thing to have. So you're always welcome. And with that, Simos, you got anything going on this week?
Yeah, Monday 9 o'clock UK time is the first. Is a preview of the upcoming Formula One season. We've obviously just had a test, and myself, Fabio, and Lucky Wolfin will be going through a preview for this year's season. 9 o'clock Monday, if anybody's into Formula One.
Yep.
And Mike, I know Mike's always got something brewing, and often you'll find Mike and I together over there brewing on something. And like I told Mike, I got a video for you, Mike. We just might have to take a look at it this week if you're in the right state of mind. So
I got a good creationist video I ran into today too. 7 proofs or something against evolution. And the guy, I think you sent it to me, didn't you? Or somebody did.
Is that the Canadian tuxedo guy?
I think so, yeah. It's really bad. It's just like, oh my God.
Yeah, we have to take a look at him.
Talk about the greatest hits from AIG.
Yeah, they're in Canada too.
He even brings up the second law of thermodynamics, for God's sake. It's like,
of course.
Yeah, of course he does. Anyway.
All right.
Okay, guys. I'm out of here. We'll see you guys.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a good one, and we hope to see y'all next week here at Saturday Night at the Atheists.
Remember, stay crustaceous.
Stay crustaceous.
Tales of lore knocking at the captive desk's door. Legends live within these walls, silent echoes in the halls, books and stories on the floor, knocking at the captive desk's door. Captive desk, hold our dreams, where reality and no myth seems. In conversations, quiet flow, the mysteries untold will know. Legends live within these walls, silent echoes in the halls, books and stories on the floor, knocking at the